Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you on National Simplicity Day. And if you take a look at our rundown right now, I think simple is probably the best way you can describe it. Bit of a slow sports week. Doesn't matter. It gives us a chance to stretch our legs and have some fun. Today should be very loose. We'll talk about the All-Star game and everything else. But, yeah, just a little bit loose, bringing back Woodsy's Wednesday Rabbit Hole. It has been a long, long time, so look forward to that at 7:35. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, decked out in his shades and looks very sharp on a fresh haircut. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Summer break, baby.
EST3 in the chat says you look like the Terminator. That's your cue to do your amazing –
Damn it, Higgins!
Damn it!
How do you get those cows?
It kills me every time.
Teach me your ways.
Now to my left. Stop whining.
Higgins!
I say to my kids all the time, stop whining. They have no idea what I'm talking about. To my left, Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. You're the only one really that went festive again. I didn't have any more summer clothes.
I'm gonna say party foul. I mean, I get the email before I come back from vacation that with summer break, we're all dressing up all week.
Well, we dressed up yesterday
in our summer gear, and I specifically asked yesterday, is this a
summer colored shirt and you can't see, but like white pants?
Yeah, and Paulie's at least partial. I mean, he's got the sunglasses.
He's
going in. I asked specifically yesterday, are we still doing this tomorrow, or can I go back to my regular dress? And you told me, no, we're doing it, all week, at least until Friday when the second half of the baseball season. So I dug out my authentic hats. All right, now what's
you happy?
Now you're beach ready now. You're beach ready.
Bullying works.
Woodsy just took his shirt off, by the way, for those who can't see us on our YouTube stream. And if Paul looks like the Terminator, I have to say that I laughed out loud when EST3 commented, "Why does Ben look like he's about to catch some bees?"
Yeah. Well, I don't want to leave my guys.
I don't have the netting over my head, at least.
I don't want to leave my guys out in the cold. And speaking of colds, I'm very cold in here.
Glass cutters.
They're always hard though, Paulie, these nipples of mine. I looked this morning in the closet. I don't have anything. So I have like board shorts, but nobody can see my shorts, right? So
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm like, well, I don't have a shirt that says like summer vibes, or I could have gone to CVS, I guess, and bought like a cruddy San Diego, sell those turd San Diego shirts at CVS, and I don't have any of those. All my t-shirts are like plain, so I guess I'll just sunbathe under these artificial lights in here. I can't do the whole show like this because there is it's kind of freeing. I'll say that I feel free, but I did tell you I'll at least do the first break without my shirt on, which is like 10 more minutes. So I don't know.
You've satisfied all my requirements.
Have I? Okay.
You're pretty good at this point.
Okay.
So I may take.
What do you think? Not as bad as you thought, right?
I may take off my beekeeping hat at some point as well.
You can do it right now.
Right.
In fact, I'm going to ask you to, because the look of it makes me homicidal. I see the hat and I want to go on a killing spree. It's like the worst hat that's ever been made. And when I see a guy like that on the golf course, that's a guy that's like, if I get a chance to hit into him today, I'm going to take it. If I see a guy out on the course wearing that hat, I go, please be in the fairway.
I don't think I could swing with that hat on.
I see it all the time.
My hands would hit the brim of the hat going back.
Well, that means you're coming up too steep.
Probably.
Yeah, coming down too steep. So if I see a guy on the course with that, I'm like, what are you, about 270? Yeah, I can get you. I'm going to hit right up into you. It just infuriates me. I don't know why. So, well, welcome in. Are you doing okay? Because you don't seem like you've been your normal jovial self. Unbutton that top one though, too. Let it flow a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's way too. Oh, it's better already.
Now we're talking.
Already. Now we're talking. Right. That's better. Are you doing good?
Vacation time. Well, it's always hard to get back into the swing of things after taking a few days off. Had the full day of work yesterday. All day long was just grinding, and then back up in the morning. Takes a day or two to get used to the 4.5 hour sleep grind, but I'm all right.
I think you're full of it, and I think I know what the the real problem is. And he's mentioned it, Paulie. He's been dropping little little crumbs.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Well, he's been like Hansel and Gretel.
Mhm.
Like he's been, which one of your Hansel? You've been dropping out of your little pouch little crumbs to me, Paul, Adam. You're very upset that you don't have another vacation plan. You're staring down the barrel
Did it
of.
to Shelly yesterday as well.
Did you?
Just
You're
said, we need to plan something.
You're staring down the barrel of August, September, October, November, December, 5 more months, and there's nothing on the calendar.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to on purpose to keep it kind of clear, expecting another busy September and October like we had last year. And obviously, I'm still hoping for that. But I think as Padres fans, we also have to face the reality that October might not be quite as busy as it was last year.
I hate to even put that
Yeah,
out
I
there.
know,
I know. I'm with you. I have that one trip in October, mid-October, like the 12th and 13th. That would be, I think, during the playoffs. And trust me, let's put it this way. I really want to catch a ration of S for being in Vegas when the Padres are playing.
We'd love to give it to you.
Oh, I'll take it. I will wear it happily. And I would love to get it. But
no, I'm just here to bet big money.
Yeah,
on
I'm here
our
to bet big
Padres.
money on the Padres. It's like $100 at the sports book. But I just have noticed you're a little bit not yourself. And I wonder if it's because there's nothing on the horizon. Everybody needs someone to love, someone and something to look forward to, right? It's hard to get through life without either of those things. And not having anything to look forward to, vacation wise. And I know it's important and you do need your rest, but like you mentioned it on the air, you mentioned it a couple times to Adam. So should I go on Travelocity? Like
That would be nice.
We can do it. I mean, where do you want to go?
Maybe Expedia. We can check out all the sites.
Hotels
if there's
tonight, maybe
cool all-inclusive sort of resorts, some deals that we can get right now.
Where do you want to go? Where did it go?
I would think it'd be fun. Maybe like Baja California, something like a Mexican vacation.
Now we used to have
tacos.
a listener. Remember the listener from Baja California that didn't like me at all, that tried to fight at a park?
Yeah.
He could probably hook you up. So Jeff, if you're listening, I know you are. Ben would really love to rent one of your vacation properties down in Baja. If you stayed there, I'll kill you, just so you know. Like that would be.
Then I'm like, well, I got a good deal.
I got a good deal on it.
He likes me.
Do you not remember this guy? Like you don't remember this guy got me suspended
Ben's
for a
over.
week?
He loves me. He just
liked
doesn't
me.
like you.
Yeah.
He loved Ben.
It was just you. that he had
Loved
a
Ben. What
problem
did he call
with.
me? Ed, who was the guy next to Carson?
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon. He said that I don't provide anything on the show. I'm just there to go, ha ha ha, yep. And that you hear that, it makes you want to turn over a table for sure. So
Tough to plan anything right now, though, when the bulk of the country, and it's finally hitting us today as well, is going to be like 115 degrees. It seems like.
Is it
everywhere.
really?
Oh, just ridiculous. I mean,
I
the
felt
forecast,
it this morning walking in. It's usually still a little chilly at 5:15, and there was no crisp in the air.
all this week inland, in the 90s, deserts 119. I think it's going to get up to later this week in our desert communities, 90s in the mountains. The only place that it's going to be okay is the coast, where it's still going to be in the 70s. So everybody, east of the 15 or east of the 5 is going to make their way toward the coast, and it's going to be very busy because everywhere else in San Diego and beyond sounds like it's just going to be miserable.
Yeah, I worry about
for at least the next week.
I worry about my family in Texas. My grandmother's old, 82 years old, and dude, I mean, the power grids are shutting down there. The power grids in Texas shut down in the winter and they shut down in the summer. So they're doing a bang up job there in local and state government, as they have for a long time. I saw an article yesterday. I'm like, cool. Hopefully my 82-year-old grandmother is able to find some sort of relief. My parents obviously are there. They're kind of out in the middle of Bumble F too. So I just hope everything's working, So I if you guys are here every year in Chicago too, Ben, every summer when I lived in Chicago, there would be a rash of 80-year-old people just dropping dead because they were old school and they remembered, we didn't always need air conditioning. Now we're on fixed incomes and we can't afford it. So we'll just roast to death in our apartments. It's really fantastic. So this foreplay took a weird turn Very weird turn into elderly deaths and heat. But
you took us there.
well, I mean, you
Heat,
guys
I
started
think-
talking about the weather.
Well,
What am I
we're
supposed to
talking about
do?
vacations. Heat is part of that summer vacation heat.
Well, we canceled ours. We had a trip planned to Palm Springs August 9, 10, and 11. And we were texting about Hannah canceled it. She goes, I'm not doing that again. It was terrible. You guys all heard the Palm Springs experience. By the way, I was in my beloved Stater Brothers getting groceries, and my man Mike, who works there, is the manager. He's real quiet. He's like, hey, what's I'm like, hey. He goes, heard somebody talking about Palm Springs today. All I thought of was Taylor getting out of the car and screaming, crying because of the heat. And I go, dude, no, I may never go back again, especially not with my kids. So we canceled our trip in August. So I'm texting with Hannah this morning. I go, do I need to take those days off? Are we going to do something? She's like, yeah, I think we should do something. So now we're planning a vacation just to plan one. So I'm probably going to be off a couple days in August. You guys will be fine, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm with you. Like I have my U2 October. It's just a weekend trip. I got Chicago in September. I actually got a bunch of good stuff. I'm in a great mood. I've got a lot of stuff to look forward to.
I need some plans to go along with Woods' plans for the rest of the year, but I got nothing.
Oh,
I got nothing for like 12 months.
Just
right now.
work.
Yeah,
just work.
Me.
Paul.
Grind nose to the grindstone.
Ugh. We need to get you out of town.
Exactly.
We need to get you out of town.
I mean, even if it's a few months away, then you get something on the horizon. You go, all right, I can do that. I can get I like what I do. I can get through. But when there's just no end to it. It's, oh, wow. I mean, Christmas break is kind of the next thing to look forward to.
Oh my God.
Like it's a long way away.
Well, I will say this, watching the All-Star game last night, I loved it. I did. Now, there are parts of it I loathed, and you can probably imagine which, and we'll talk about all those because, frankly, we have nothing else to do. But you know what it did? It relit a little bit of the spark for me, hearing all the players talk. I hated most of the mic'd up segments. I did. We'll talk about it again. It does renew my passion. And the first part of the season was really tough. It was tough for us. I know it was tough for Padre fans. Hell, I know it was tough for the players. I know it was tough for Bob Melvin. I know it was tough for Peter Seidler, AJ Preller, the whole scene. You do get that slate wiped clean, though, during the All-Star break. You do. At least I did it as a fan, and that's exactly how I feel. And now I actually got sad last night. I got sad watching. I went, we only have like 70 more regular season games. That sucks. That sucks really bad. That's like 2 months of baseball. That really blows. And so I'm going to really try to enjoy this ride until this ends. I'm going to try to ride this thing till the wheels come off.
Savor every moment.
Savor every moment, every game. And, win, lose, good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to call it. But it really did wipe the slate clean for me. There's a new path ahead. And it reinvigorated me a little bit. So watching that watching that last night did that for me.
Well, we will certainly talk about the game last night. Ended a historic losing streak for the National League. They finally got a win. In fact, I had to look it up. The last time the National League won the All-Star game, Juan Soto was 13 years old.
That's unbelievable, man.
13.
What a run.
Yeah.
The AL had. And it looked like they were going to win again
until a very unlikely MVP.
Freaking great moments last night for a lot of guys.
Turn the tables. I thought it was a pretty good All-Star game overall. Both Padres got in, contributed at least a little bit in ways that didn't threaten the second half of the season, I think, for the San Diego Padres. So we'll talk about all of that coming up. Is Adam Jones still joining us today?
No.
He is not joining us today.
He is not joining us.
No one told me about that, but I didn't see him on a rundown. So I was going, what happened to Adam Jones? He was there, though, so we'll have to catch up with him soon. What happened?
He went to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I think he left before the game.
Did he?
I
okay.
think.
So he
was there for the home run derby.
Right. He did he was in the celebrity softball game.
Yep.
He was in it, served up a homer to King Felix. The original King Felix,
careful.
not Softy's King Felix.
He served up a home run in the actual game.
He sure did. Thanks a lot, Softy. Well, way to rattle that man's confidence.
I went to Softy's timeline right after that happened. He goes, "Are you kidding me right now? Are you absolutely effing kidding me right now?"
Freaking Softy, dude. So then he got on a plane. He's in Vegas.
Nice.
So there's not a chance on God's green earth that we get that man on the phone. Also, we probably don't want him. We probably
good
don't
point.
have a long
we're gonna
enough
have him
delay.
In studio next week.
Next week,
which
he's
is
gonna be here
really
for a couple
cool.
hours
So,
hanging
yeah,
out.
Yep,
keep that in mind. The next week we get a little extra. Adam Jones. All right, Daily Ditty is coming up next. Good theme. Iconic movie scenes, the music that goes with them. And I will make my selection when we return and we get underway here on a Wednesday. Glad to have everybody with us. It is Ben and Woods. Let's get our first check of traffic as we roll on here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
The great, great Michael Madsen.
Yes,
One
and
of
Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino, the very creepy scene and cutting off of the ear.
I can't
to this music.
tell you how much I love Michael Madsen. I just can't. Donnie Brasco. Oh my God, he is just. I look at him and I go, like he is there's a documentary about him called American Badass. Like he is such a G, dude. He's a poet. He's a cowboy. He's everything. He's the everyman, and he's in my top 5 favorite actors for sure. I love Michael Madsen, and he is beyond brilliant in that movie. He was actually supposed to play in Pulp Fiction, Ben, the Vincent Vega character.
That's right. Instead of John Travolta.
Yeah, something fell through, whatever. It didn't happen. And I mean, Travolta was a career reviving role, but Madsen would have crushed that.
Tarantino has his favorites, though, and Michael Madsen's
he's one of his guys.
Very high on the list.
It's cool. You want to get in with those big time directors. Like Leo will do every Marty movie forever. You know, and that there's a new one coming out. Have you guys seen the preview for the new Leo Marty Scorsese movie? I can't remember the name of it. Jason Isbell is in it, who I will be seeing in Humphreys tonight. Very excited about that. I'm going to be a little worse for wear tomorrow.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that looks really
good
that
too. A ton.
Yep.
I'm very interested in that. And then I looked. It's like a 3:15, 3:20 runtime.
You break that up. You wait till it's out on streaming, and you break it up over, in my case, about 6 weeks. Yeah. I'll watch 30 minutes. I'll fall asleep. I'll go back and watch.
It's like when The Irishman came out. I was like,
it took me a month,
but 4-day
event. It was like, I think that was over Christmas break, and I absolutely loved The Irishman, but it took me a month to finish.
I couldn't get past the CGI.
We only have on our show, so there's three guys. I'm Woodsy. I'm 48. I'll be 48 next week. Ben's 47. We're the same age. Paulie's 33.
Almost 32.
32. Collectively, between the three of us, there are 2 movies we talk about on this radio show and only 2: Good Will Hunting and Pulp Fiction. I think it's the only two movies that we've all seen that we all know and can reference. I can do 1,000. Ben has Pulp Fiction and Good Will Hunting. Paulie has Pulp Fiction and Good Will Hunting.
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy?
See, now I can do all the Marvel and the Star Wars
and
movies.
I can't do any of it.
You can't do those.
Paulie can't either.
I can't either. I saw the commercial during the All-Star game for, was it Blue Beetle?
It's the new superhero movie.
Yeah. I think it's DC. And I go, that's comic book.
I don't really watch the DC ones either. I have my own limit on superhero movies, and I just can only take so much.
Now, me and Woods have plenty of movies in common.
Yes.
That we've tried to get you to watch.
And he won't do it.
You won't do it. Or you don't like them.
It's a good time, summer break, even though you're not really on break. It's such a beating. We have assigned him homework, so he does the radio show. We're like, hey, at some point today, you need to watch Happy Gilmore. He's like, I got to do the radio show. I got to go home.
You don't have like 8 free minutes every day, right? It takes a long time to get through movies, 8 minutes at a time.
Then I got to go home. I got to walk the dogs. I got to go to Channel 10. I got like 12 hours of work there. I get home at 1 o'clock in the morning. When am I supposed to watch Happy Gilmore, Woodsy? Any ideas? And then if he does get a day off, you know the last thing he wants to do? Sit there and watch a stupid movie like Happy Gilmore. But we've tried.
I've had a great story that I heard yesterday. I went one thing that sometimes I do in between work. I went to see my trainer on Tuesdays, and it was a week ago today. You guys remember the carjacking that ended up in Encinitas, and we talked about it like a week ago.
I missed it.
You missed it.
I was dead asleep.
I didn't get all the details of it, but apparently it was right in front of her house. I work out. She's got all the equipment in her garage, so I go, and she was saying, yeah, they actually cornered him there's a dead end at the end of the street. Oh. He was firing out of his car, like on her street, going full like reverse 100 miles an hour. Someone like was trying to pursue him with a gun. They were like shooting at each other. Yeah, no, it was like a citizen.
A neighbor?
Like a neighbor was trying to get him, take him down. I was like, what are you doing? That's so stupid. He's got a gun. Just get away. And they were like ducking in their homes. And eventually they brought him into custody by the 24-hour fitness or the LA Fitness. By where we live in Encinitas.
That's where I get my oil change, right by that oil change place.
It was I didn't realize it was such a actual shootout gunfire on the street, and you could hear the gunfire, and she was like, yeah, those are gunshots. Get down, hide. And this was right in front of where I go and work out with her. And she was
Don't
telling me this
ever-
gnarly story from last Wednesday.
Don't ever say that Ben and I are sheltered because we live in
Right.
Encinitas. I mean, there's literal gunfire on the streets. All right. It's
hard times.
It's hard. It's hard as it gets.
Yeah, they carjacked this delivery driver just down the street from there by the Birmingham Valero, and then pulled into her neighborhood and was like full reverse, shooting out the window of the car, being pursued
What are
through
you
the neighborhood. It's like, wow, this is the most dramatic thing that's happened in Encinitas in many, many years.
You do feel like that risk reward isn't worth it for a delivery driver. What are you going to get?
Yeah.
$60? Like if you're
Well,
going to do
they were already they had started down like in Imperial Beach, and there were shootings down there, so they were already
they were on
kind
a
of being
spree.
they were on a spree, being pursued, trying to get away from the authorities, and so I think they just needed transportation at that point. It was
guy. They tried to
less-
grab his car.
Yeah, they were just grabbing a car at that point to continue fleeing. However, they were trying to get away from the police. So yeah, I got some of the details of what turned out to be an even gnarlier story than I had heard last week when I first heard about it.
It's not all rescuing cats from trees in Encinitas, as you may think. It's there's actual crime in Encinitas, apparently. Well, I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay. It was close to your house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get dicey. It's getting dicey everywhere out there. So mind your P's and Q's, my friends. Let's get into the All-Star game next. We have a lot of thoughts on uniforms. I got thoughts on the announcers. What did we do to deserve this? This is it, right? This is what we have now for the rest of our lives.
He's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
I know
He's
he ain't going anywhere.
He's got a while.
Is there a higher level that he aspires to go to? Because I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
I mean, that's
I don't get it.
right?
I don't understand it.
Unless
And
another
it's-
network swoops in and takes him,
Please.
like Joe Buck. Like,
Please,
you
can he
don't-
do another sport?
You don't really leave that gig.
So
He does football, right?
probably does.
He does.
Yeah, it's hard for me to do it anymore.
Yeah. All right, we will get into the All-Star game last night in Seattle, the National League 3-2 victory coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
The 2-2. Swing and a high fly ball, left field. That one back. That one way back there. Gone! Elias Diaz, a home run. And the National League has taken a 3-2 lead as he blasts that one out to left.
I spared you guys. I got the MLB Network
Thank
radio
you, Ollie.
call.
Thank you,
for that
man.
highlight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone have any idea what odds you could have gotten on Elias Diaz as the
MVP?
All-Star MVP?
Through the roof.
I mean, field, you'd probably just have to bet. I
Yeah.
doubt they even had specific odds on Elias Diaz winning the award, but hey, it's one swing and in a game, but no one gets more than a couple of at-bats. You run into a pitch, and then all of a sudden you go down in baseball history as an All-Star game MVP as the National League beats the American League 3-2. And
He was plus 6,500.
he had odds, so 65 to 1.
Along with George Kirby, Whit Merrifield, and Dansby Swanson.
Did not know Whit Merrifield was in there. Did he get in the game?
He did. He got
He
a
did.
single off Josh Hader. In fact,
He did.
I believe that's who got the hit off Josh Hader. Was
I watched. So I
Whit
watched.
Merrifield leading off the bottom of the 8th inning for the American League.
My wife had to work last night, so I had the two little angels, and I was like watching, but clearly not watching. I had literally did not know Whit
Poked a
Merrifield.
ground ball single between
That's
first
who
and
hit it.
second there off Hader. And
I
then
was so
was picked off first base on the line out double play.
That's
at the
right.
end of the
Okay,
inning.
that's who got it. That's who was picked off. All I heard was all that I could focus on really was the mic'd up stuff with Hader and Ozzie Albies. Now, by the way, most of the mic'd up stuff last night was atrocious, beyond atrocious, and so uncomfortable and awful. And I hope they never do it again, unless it's Ozzie Albies and Josh Hader. Both
was great.
They were fantastic. They saved what had been really to that point a horrific display. The pitcher, who was it? Evaldi kind of talking through pitching with Smoltz was fine. But for the most
He didn't
part,
seem
it was
super into it.
No, none of the pitchers really seemed to be, except for Hader. He was very loose. That was a part I did not enjoy.
Juan Soto had a busy inning while he was mic'd up.
The
A little
worst.
out of breath,
That's
having to
the
run into
worst.
the gap and do
That's
all
the
kinds of
worst.
things. Like,
It's
Yeah.
the last thing you want if you're out there just shooting the
Shane's
breeze.
just like banging into the
Yeah, chewing the fat.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
Sorry, Joe. What?
single,
Yeah.
single, double, fly ball. I'm like, oh my God, poor Juan. It's getting worked out there.
They're trying to
Um,
ask Corbin Carroll about growing up in Seattle, 10 minutes away from the ballpark, and then boom, home run right over his head.
Who else was good? Julio was pretty good. It's not them. It's not the players. It's the announcers. It's Joe Davis and John Smoltz trying to sound natural. It's, no offense, very local news bantery. It's very like, yeah. So you having fun out there? Yep. What's the All-Star game mean to you? It's fun. I like it. Seeing all the players and stuff. That's great. I was pulling my hair out.
they did make the degree of difficulty incredibly hard, especially when you had like when Evaldi was mic'd up and then one of the batters was mic'd up at the same time.
Yes.
And he's hearing the conversation as well. So the pitcher, so what are you throwing to him here? Well, I think I'm going to try to get him out on a
Go
cutter. It was
heater.
like,
Did I hear like?
hey, wait.
Did you hear that? I heard something along those lines. Like I was like,
It's
wait,
too much.
the
It's just too
batter's
much.
mic'd up too.
It was just too much. Now I'm a noted hater of everything, right? And my wife tells me all the time, my God, you piss and moan a lot. And I do. But that's also my job, to come in here and break down what my opinion was of that game last night. And the game itself, spectacular. Like I told you, it reinvigorated my love of the game for the second half. I'm so excited to get it going. The presentation, I heard Chris Hello yesterday. You just went nuts about the uniforms. And I watched it last night. I go, yeah, I agree. It's terrible. Just a money grab, cash grab. Let these cats wear their own unis that always look cool as hell to me. I thought that was the best part. Bro, Grant Brisbee with the tweet of the morning, our beloved Grant Brisbee, covers the Giants for The Athletic. He said, people will make fun of the National League All-Star uniforms, but when you get a chance to pair hypercolor tops with Carhartt rugged flex straight fit canvas 5-pocket tapered work band, you have to take it for fashion. It's terrible. The NL unis were horrific. The
They
ALs
were-
weren't much better.
They were all bad.
So again, cash grab. Here's an all-star. The hats I thought were okay. I thought the
The
hats,
hats were okay. I
okay.
didn't like the helmets. The
No, I
helmets
didn't like
just
the helmets
had
either.
an
Yeah,
A
I
or an
like the
N.
hats. Now, I'm not the pinnacle of fashion, as you can see here, but I was always told very clearly that dark blue and black are a no-go together. That's not a combination you should ever try to pair.
My
dark
mom said
blue
you
with
always
black.
you look like a big bruise if you walk around
Yeah.
with dark blue and black.
I've done it. I don't like it very much. It does. It's the thing about fashion is that anything goes, right? You can say anything goes, but when you're making a uniform, so it's not. If you had said, "Hey guys, wear whatever you want
What's
out there,"
the-
that's a different story. That's
What's the
fashion.
logic? What was the logic behind moving from team uniforms to
Money.
what,
Yeah, so
where's the
Well,
money?
you're trying to sell.
Nike's still
you're trying
making
to-
the same jerseys.
Yeah,
you're
but
trying
now
to
you
sell
get
them to the public.
Now you're getting an American League Shohei Ohtani jersey instead of an Angels Shohei Ohtani jersey with a
You've already got your
All-star
patch.
You've already got your Angels Shohei
Yeah.
Ohtani jersey.
now
You're
you got to
probably
get
not-
another one.
You're probably not
Not when
buying
they're
another one, but now
atrocious.
you have to buy an all-star
Yeah,
jersey.
let's say your kid is the world's biggest Juan Soto fan, and now he wants a jersey in the All-Star colors that say Soto on the back to go along with his three other with his City Connect, with his camo, with all the other jerseys he wants. Now he gets a Soto All-Star jersey. Thank God my kids, Bo, didn't really care for the uniforms either, because I'd probably be
Let's have
in
really
Hawk.
cool batting practice jerseys.
So
then.
yeah, absolutely. Remember
I just loved the look of seeing 7, 8, 9 different uniforms on the field at
well,
the same time.
we all remember how cool the jerseys were for BP here.
Yeah,
Remember
brown and gold.
They
and-
looked
Yeah.
so
yeah, if you wear
good,
them on
man.
the home run derby day, wear the special all-star gear that day, and then wear the team jerseys on the field in the actual game.
Yeah.
Where you can see, oh yeah, this guy's coming in from the Padres, this guy's coming in from the Cardinals, and they're wearing their actual team gear. Always, I thought, was one of the cooler elements of the all-star game. And
Man.
to take that away, another miss by Major League
When I was
Baseball.
watching the pregame though, and they were introducing everybody from left center field, and they're walking down the red carpet, and they were doing the National League reserves. I'm just like, they look like they're wearing joggers. Like,
They did look like like-
tight sweatpants.
they look like Lululemon ABC work pants.
I don't like black pants for baseball uniforms.
I hate them. I absolutely.
I've never seen one where I'm
hate
like, oh, that uniform combo looks good.
them. No, maybe like the Pirates of the 70s, like not when they do the
Yeah,
throwback.
50 years ago,
They
it
looked
worked.
cool on them because they were blast heaters and rip rails in the dugout. They were like a different scene altogether. But I watched the broadcast. So again, that part too drove me nuts. Hey kids, we want you to line this red carpet. Don't go on the red carpet, but I want you to make every all-star have to duck waddle down so
Yeah,
that he can
I said,
slap.
why is the red
five.
carpet 12 feet wide?
Just let him on the
make
carpet.
it smaller at
Yeah,
least.
and
Either
they're
let
like-
them on the carpet or make it smaller. 'cause
Exactly.
guys went, oh,
So I watched that. They're just blasting Cascade or something over all this beautiful music that comes out of Seattle. And they're it's terrible. Terrible. Around the world, around the world. They're
Well,
running out.
when you had two players from the same team, like Pedro and Soto introduced at the same time,
Yeah.
they could just stay on their side of the carpet and
And just walk in high five.
But when there was only one player from a particular team and they had to come out by themselves,
He's like
it was
walking on
very
hot
awkward.
coals.
Just let the kids closer. Move the kids in. Hey guys, just move the kids in. Move them in. Move them in. Yeah, this looks like
Everybody
this
take
looks
one
terrible.
giant step forward.
This looks terrible.
As
Over.
for the game, though, I thought actually a really well represented baseball game, was never separated by more than one run. Let's talk a little bit about the actual game action right after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Kia of Carlsbad. Well, guys, we're not showing any incidents or accidents. Start to see the usual slowing in the usual spots, though. In fact, that bridge, a little crowded for you. Heading over to the island, we're seeing backup start around mid-span. With a huge selection of new Kias in stock, they're sure to have the Kia of your dreams. They're right up the 5 freeway in the heart of Carlsbad, or shop online at premierkiaofcarlsbad.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I actually think 3-2 is almost a perfect all-star game
Agreed.
score, which is weird because don't you want to see more offense from those great players? Well, the pitchers are great at the
So
all-star
fun to
game
watch,
as well.
man.
And I felt the game struck a really good balance. You saw great pitching, but occasionally, the hitters beat good pitchers, and there was 17 or 16 hits in the game. It wasn't like it was 3 hits against 2 hits and no one could even get on base.
Dude, some of those catches out in the sun and right field.
Yeah,
there-
the way
there
the
was
game started.
There were some great defensive plays. There were some great pitching. There were some timely big hits. I thought Arias was, everything that you would want from him during the season. He gets 2 sharp singles, including an RBI, showing exactly what he's all about. I saw 2 pitches, drove them both. Liner to center field, liner to right to drive home the tying run. Game was close all the way throughout, and you had a nice dramatic go-ahead 2-run turnaround home run in the top of the 8th inning by Elias Diaz. It was a well-played, crisp, nice all-star game all around.
A really cool moment for that not so young man, 32 years old, first all-star game, getting to hit a tank and essentially, the game winner. It was spectacular, man. Spectacular moment. Let's be honest. I thought Brent Rooker ripping a double over Juan Soto's head was a really cool thing. That guy, if you had told that guy a year and a half ago, hey man, you're gonna be in an all-star game and you're gonna rip a double off of, who was it, Bautista or something, or no, it wasn't Bautista. They're on the same team. Who the hell did he hit it off of? Camilo Doval, maybe Doval. So cycling in and out. It's a cool moment. There's so many cool moments.
Brett Rooker, who was on the Padres last year, actually went 0 for 7 in 2 games, and that's all he made it with the Padres after being acquired in the trade. They eventually DFA'd him, but went down to El Paso. Did well enough that when he got traded away, he ended up getting that opportunity this season with the A's, and cashed in with an amazing early run that got him to the All-Star game, and then gets a double in the All-Star game.
Pretty cool, man.
Really, really good stories. Both Padres did get into the game. I think if you are the Padres and Josh Hader is going to pitch at some point, you can't ask for more than a 5-pitch inning and a hold in the 8th inning.
Now, conversely, Rob Thompson, manager of the NL, goes to his closer to shut this thing down, and Craig Kimbrell was the zone, by the way, last night. It was like throwing to a pinhead. I mean, it was tight. And Kimbrell threw some pretty decent pitches that were called balls. Wander Franco almost jacked one on him. And then that sounded weird. And then he got in a little bit of trouble, but he threw 30 pitches. And if you're a Padre fan, you're like, oh, cool, we play those guys in a couple of days. It's got to done this a million times. Not going to rattle his confidence or anything, but again, 30 more bullets he doesn't have, and he was going full bore. 5 pitches for Josh Soto coming in and hitting. I think I saw on Twitter the 3rd hardest hit ball of his entire career last night in the All-Star game.
It was the hardest hit ball of the game, 115.4 miles per hour. Now, the first couple of at-bats, he rolled over on one to first base and popped out, but he did get that 3rd opportunity. Didn't result in any extra runs for the National League in the 9th inning, but it was his first ever All-Star hit. And he got to sit on the set with the Fox guys afterwards for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they kind of grilled him about the second half of the Padres season, and A-Rod kept, so what do you really need to turn the year around?
We've got it.
We'll play that because Juan Soto actually was up there for, I'd say, good 4 or 5 minutes with the Fox crew, with Poppy and A-Rod and Jeter, and they were giving him the 3rd degree after the game about what's gone wrong with the Padres season and how they're going to turn things around in the second half. So you got a lot of Juan Soto last night. Mic'd up, was there, generally being the smiley Juan Soto that he's known for being, and represented the Padres well last night.
He was everywhere. He's loved. Juan Soto is loved by the game, by the broadcasters.
We gonna play that audio?
Yeah, do we have enough time to get it all in? I know he was.
We don't have
all
all
there
of it.
for a while.
15 seconds.
Oh, we just got a little bit. That's great.
We don't need anything. We have everything that we need. We have the pitching. We have the hitting. We have the defense. We have everything. Well, I mean, if we go out there and buy some guys, great. I love it. But I think we have everything that we need to go all the way.
All right. He's in a tough position. He can be like, you know what? Actually, we need an upgraded catcher. We're going to go ahead and need an upgraded first base. We're also going to need upgrade in the bullpen, and picking up another starter wouldn't kill us either. You can't say it. So you have to go, no, we're good, man. If we get somebody.
Crap. I usually sit next to Nola on the plane.
I know.
I better not.
It's like, yeah, we need like 4. We need 4, maybe a DH too. Carp's just not really getting it done. So I'd say 5 areas is where we really
owned, though, that the offense, he said, the offense is the reason why we're in the hole that we are, that we got to climb out of. And I have confidence that we can do it, but don't blame the pitchers. They were really, really good in the first half of the season, and we need to start hitting consistently to get where we want to go.
My boy Matty tweets in Rooker double off Diaz from Cincy.
Yeah,
filthy. It was just like one filthy reliever. Did you see the pitch Camilo Duvall throw? 102 on the black. It was called a ball. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I think that guy was signed, by the way, for $100,000. No, less than that, I think. What a stud. And they just kept rolling out stud after stud after stud after stud. Always nice to see your guys show up at an all-star game and do their job. That's for sure.
A couple other notes from last night. You did hear in the fifth inning the sell the team chants.
Mm-hmm.
The Oakland A's had their fans had asked, hey, if you're going to the all-star game in the top of the fifth as a protest for the team, potentially moving to Las Vegas, we want to hear that sell the team chant. And you could hear it over the broadcast, and they carried it through to Brent Rooker's at bat from the Oakland A's when got that double. I thought that was a pretty cool moment of solidarity because it's Seattle and they're one of the AL West rivals of the Oakland A's. So you wouldn't know that necessarily their fans would be that supportive, but you could definitely hear it from all corners of the park. People unhappy about how this Oakland A's situation has been handled.
Watching your guys in the all-star game too, it did give me the thought. It popped into my head. I go, I don't want either of these guys to leave. That's exactly what I thought. I went, I don't want either of them gone. I know it's probably out of the realm of possibility, Ben, that you can re-sign both of those guys. Again, I don't know what Peter Seidler's checkbook looks like now. I don't know what it's going to look like after the season. But you see players like that representing your squad, and you go, yep, those are my guys, and I don't want them to go anywhere. I don't want them traded. I want them here. I want to win a World Series with those guys. Two great representatives for the San Diego Padres last night, and, the nature of the business tells you two guys that may not be here in a year. One guy that may not be here in 3 weeks, which is a bummer. It's a real bummer. But it's something that's very, very real staring us in the face right now, and I watched them last night and listened to them talk, and I go, I want those dudes here, man. Call me selfish. I want Josh Hader and I want Juan Soto here, for the next 10 years.
All right, all guests on Ben and Woods, and we haven't had that many the last couple of days as we are on summer break.
That's right.
Summer break isn't about interviews.
Well, you know what else? It's letting everybody else get their summer breaks in too. Like Jesse Agler. Jesse Agler probably would have come on.
Totally deserves a summer
break. Give
break.
that man a break. Adam Jones is hammered right now playing craps in Las Vegas. Get summer break.
When we do have guests, they appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet Fine New Roads. Summer break about games and fun.
Right over there.
We got Take on Woods coming up next. Stay tuned for more here on 97.3 The Fan. 7 o'clock, Ben and Woods with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Talking All-Star Game on our summer break. Padres still 2 days away from returning to the second half of the season in Philadelphia. 4 games against the Phillies, 4 incredibly important games against the Phillies to open up the second half. I mean, got to be, when you look at it right now, most critical series of the season so far for the Padres is the one coming up.
We've said that like every series, the last, I'd say at least 3 weeks.
Well, they've been getting more important, but, this is the first time you're actually facing a team that's right in front of you in
This
the
is a
wild card
4-game
race.
series against the Twins. Not as important.
Right.
Yeah.
Still important. You got to go out and take care of business.
And, and there'll be important series after the Phillies series as well. But to me, this is the first one that truly is almost make or break. The homestand was pretty important. They needed a good homestand going into the break. They got it. Now that sets up an even more important series coming up against the Phillies. We'll talk about it more as we get a little bit closer. But right now we're on summer break.
72 games to go, Benjamin.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy, man. Crazy that we've already been through 90 games as a fan base, isn't it? I mean, we played this. We still have it, Paulie, day one. You were gone. I've been pissed off the entire season. Do you remember how the first day went after opening day?
I remember they lost the first 2 games to the Rockies.
Yeah, German Marquez shoved it on us on opening day. Remember, we had to delay opening day because of the rain. We played this when you were out. Remember,
This is how the show started.
this is how the show.
on
This is how
Friday.
This is how the baseball season started for Padres fans.
This is Friday, March 31st, 6:03 a.m.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. A little bit worse for wear this morning. Long ass day. A little too much to drink. All of it. I'm frazzled as I could be right now, and then cap it off with just one of the worst opening day performances you could imagine. Really, really cool. Really, really cool way to get things started this season.
Yeah, I mean, German Marquez pitched a little bit better than Blake Snell did yesterday.
He had 75 pitches in the 7th.
Yeah, I don't think that it was quite as disastrous as you're making it out to be.
Blake had 75 pitches in the 3rd.
He struck out 9 guys in
I
4
thought
and a third
I thought
innings.
Blake pitched
He didn't
better
walk a
than-
bunch of guys.
better than an average Blake Snell start.
Their
That's
contact.
not saying a lot, though, right now.
It was not the disaster that I think you're making it out to be.
If the Rockies bus breaks down and they don't show up, the Padres also win that game yesterday. Then you can't do that in baseball. We're all
If
driving.
the Padres
we're
committed
all-
7 errors and they walked 15 batters,
How many did they walk? And how many
Blake
errors
Snell
did they
walked 1 or 2?
He walked one.
1.
One, that's it?
One.
Surprises me.
I mean, struck out 9, walked 1. Yes, you'd like to see him get deeper into the game, but he was never pitching 6, 7 innings on opening day anyway.
He's excruciating to watch sometimes. Excruciating. You sound like the guy driving home that shot a 94 that said, well, if I didn't 3-putt 6 times and hadn't lost 4 balls, I probably would have shot even par. Like, you're a better team than them. Blake Snell's a better pitcher than German Marquez. We're a better team. Go out and show it. It was sloppy. It was a sloppy game. I was pissed. Yeah, there you go. That's how
So
he
who-
started the season.
Who ended up being right? Because obviously the Padres have struggled, and maybe some of your
My anger
concerns were justified.
My anger was directed at the wrong person that day.
At the same time, they are 10 games ahead of the Rockies, so they're
Right.
definitely a better team than
They
the
are,
Rockies.
and they've
Blake
proven that.
Snell has
He's
been
been amazing.
fantastic.
What I
this year.
didn't realize then is it was the offense that's who I wanted to stab that day. It was not Blake Snell. I don't remember exactly what his line was that day, but it was I remember it being an excruciating watch, and mostly because of the rum punch that I drank in copious amounts of, and then had to come in and do a show. I
think he went like 5 1/3 or 4 2/3.
like four and a third.
He struck out 9,
Yeah.
walked 1. I'm
We
like,
just didn't hit.
I'm
We
like,
just didn't hit, which turned out to be the problem for the season.
Well, it was almost something that we couldn't believe could be an issue, right? I mean,
yes.
the Padres started the season, and we were so sure they were going to hit when they scored 2 runs the first day and 1 run the next day and lost the first 2 games. It was simply, baseball's weird.
It's baseball.
It's just an aberration.
Who would have known that this team would go on this offensive skid?
They
I
actually,
did.
the funny thing is, after that, they won 7 of their next 9 games, or 7 of their next 10 games. They actually scored 8, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 10. And the offense looked fine for the first couple of weeks of the season. And then they absolutely fell off a cliff in mid-April and could not get it going until really, frankly, very recently when they started hitting a little bit. They just fell off a cliff offensively 2 weeks into the season and were unable to dig themselves out of it for months and months.
Well, you guys do realize, have you looked at the schedule for August? And I don't want to be a doom, but I'm looking at the schedule for August. We got, we have a handful of games left in July, obviously. Starts this weekend. And then you open, at the Rockies twice, anything can happen. Dodgers for 4, Mariners for a deuce, D-backs for 3, the Orioles for 3, the D-backs again for 4, then the Marlins, then the Brewers, then the Cardinals and the Giants. Now, those are some tough teams. That being said, there's a few of those teams are ahead of you.
A lot of them are ahead of you.
The
Dodgers,
the
exact
D-backs,
teams you need to beat. That's kind of good.
The Marlins,
that means you
Brewers,
can control your own destiny.
Exactly right.
More, I think it's better than having to play
a chance. Take a chance.
Teams that are not in front of you. You actually can grab a game every single time you win one of those.
Yeah,
you are moving closer to where you want to be at the end of the year, which is a playoff spot.
It's set up nicely. It is. It's set up nicely. I mean, but when you look at the series coming up against like the Tigers, you know what I mean? That's the series that scares me to death. The series against the Rockies at their house scares me to death. It's just these next couple of weeks are going to be it's going to be crazy. Really, really fun. I mean, every game is going to feel like a playoff game because of the hole that they've dug. But that's what we're going to do, man. 72 games left. We've already covered 90 games.
I wonder how much it's going to feel that way to the players and coaches. Every game feels like a play. That's how it's going to feel for us as fans. How is it going to feel for them? Because
players and coaches are completely different. The players are going to have to be like, doesn't matter. I got to be loose. Bob Melvin's got to be like,
because that's what we're going to talk about
the Diamondbacks
for the next 3 months. Right. Like, bro, I understand you want to save so and so for these October playoff games, but you got to get there first,
bro. The two men I envy the least. The players, they're going to go out and play. That's the fun part. The two people I envy the least in the entire world are AJ Preller and Bob Melvin. AJ Preller needs to figure out what he needs to do at the deadline and what this team needs and how to get it done. And then Bob Melvin needs to look at it and go,
at least after August 3rd or whatever, then AJ can be like, all right, this is what we're
This is what we got. Yeah. But like and then he's off the hook. And then it's on Bob to get this team back and use those pieces in the right way. And you're right, man. He cannot manage the next 72 games like it's a game 7. You just can't. You can't do it because
you also can't manage it like it's April.
That's exactly right. And
like,
there's plenty of time. Right. It's a really, really tough gig.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods? Call now 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. I enjoyed when we played back our comments after the first game of the season. We actually have more of a first half look back of, some moments and reactions in the first half of the Padres season that we can play for you a little bit later. I agree with you. I think AJ Preller is in almost a no-win situation.
I feel the same way,
if he determines that, Padres get off to a slow start in the second half and, he does the right thing, and that is selling off pieces, he's still going to get an incredible amount of criticism. How can you give up on this team that you've put so much payroll into, and now you're pulling the plug on the season? Because if he trades away Josh Hader and Blake Snell, the clubhouse turns into chaos at that point. You can't possibly expect the Padres to, give it their all on a playoff push when you're taking away pieces.
Right.
So, AJ immediately becomes public enemy number 1 within his own
clubhouse,
right?
Fan base.
But then again, if you add pieces and you chase a dream that really isn't realistic, you're also hamstringing yourself in the future. You're not making smart decisions. He is in a really tough spot over these next couple of weeks leading up to the trade deadline.
It's a good topic. I'd like to bring it back because our pals in the chat have a lot to say on it, and they're good points. Satan's Blowfish says deadline stuff's getting overblown. We're not on track for a full teardown. So all the rentals will yield guys that are unlikely to ever make a real impact. Well, I'd say that that's not overblown at all then. Like, if you move Josh Hader, right? If you move Josh Hader and you're going to get back, as you said, pieces that are unlikely to ever make a real impact, That's not good. That's that you can't overblow it enough. What is ahead of AJ Preller the next few weeks, in my opinion. I don't
trade Hader. You better be getting some major league players.
Right, but who's given major league players that are going to help contribute when you need an all-star closer to get you to a World Series?
Right, and that means you're trading him to somebody that's probably ahead of you.
They're
in the
definitely ahead of you,
right?
and they want an all-star closer. They feel like they're an all-star closer away, and you trade them for a bunch of prospects. And Suarez isn't ready. Whatever. Oh God, the doom is setting in.
Who can you
I need
trade?
a paper bag. I need a paper bag.
Who on the team can you trade that still in that as a buyer that improves your team's odds for 2023?
And they're making points here as well, and I agree. We don't need the big splash this deadline, in my opinion. We don't need the big one. We need a bullpen arm. We need a bat at some like first.
We tried for the big one a couple of years ago. It didn't happen.
Yep.
I think Ken Rosenthal. We got the big one last year. We don't need that.
Yeah, and you just don't like Cody Bellinger. I almost said Clay Bellinger. I don't think that would work out well if Clay Bellinger came here. Cody, though, could help.
Take Cody over Clay.
I would too. And I don't know what kind of prospect they would need back, but you're going to be looking to rent a couple of pieces, I think, at the deadline. You just can't give away anybody that you feel is worth it. Not one of the big names.
All right, let's bring back this topic, obviously, as we move forward. Right now, though, we got to get to our game. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, let's take Joe in San Diego as our contestant this morning. Hello, Joe.
Good morning.
All right, you are in. Let's see. Yesterday we had a 5-0 shutout, so I'm hoping you fare a little bit better. We'd like to qualify you. Beat or tie Woods, and you will qualify for our grand prize drawing of a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Skid Row and Warrant with special guest Paralandra in the International Theater at the Westgate on September 30th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. It's the home of legendary Vegas fun, the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Here are your options, your categories. This category, again, that is 5 song titles that end in the word again. But who's counting? That's a category all about counting. And the mystery category, can't give you much on that one. You just have to roll the dice and take your chances. So, Joe, this category, again, but who's counting, or the mystery category, what would you like to play today?
Let's go with this category again.
This category again. All right, actually, it's a new category, but it does include 5 song titles that all end in the word again. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. Then Woods comes back, gets the same 5 questions. Beat or tie him, we put you into the grand prize drawing. Our first question is our 2-second song. Paulie will play some music. You need to give me the title and the artist in order to score that point. Joe, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. The category, this category again. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck, Joe. Let's take on Woods.
Never Let Me Down Again, Depeche Mode.
Correct. Which 1980s song was the only hit by Whitesnake to ever reach #1 on the Billboard charts?
Here I go again.
Correct. Britney Spears Doesn't Seem All That Sorry, in which lead single from her second album. For punctuation fans, the title includes both an exclamation point and an ellipsis.
Oops, I did it again.
Correct. Steely Dan sings You Go Back, Jack, in which single from their 1972 debut album?
Do it again.
Correct. Lindsey Buckingham wrote which B-side single from the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album that has a surprisingly light and folk music-like sound?
Oh, man.
10 seconds.
Doing well so far.
Never Going Back Again.
Yes, it. Wow, pulls it out at the last second. That's what you get when you have a little extra time on your hands at the end. Good job, Joe.
Easy.
You are in. Hang on the line. Paulie will get your information. Now the only question is whether Woods is going to be able to match that, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do
I think
it.
he might get tripped up here.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a good game, Joe. Let's see if Woods has the answers we seek in today's category. He doesn't get the category, makes it a little tougher for him. All right, let's reset the 60 seconds. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Joe.
Pass.
Which 1980 song was the only hit by Whitesnake to ever reach #1 on the Billboard charts?
Here I go again.
Correct. Britney Spears Doesn't Seem All That Sorry, in which lead single from her second album. For punctuation fans, the title includes both an exclamation point and an ellipsis.
Oops, I did it again.
Correct. Steely Dan sings You Go Back. Jack, in which single from their 1972 debut album?
Do it again.
Correct. Lindsey Buckingham wrote which B-side single from the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album that has a surprisingly light and folk music-like sound?
Never Going Back Again.
Correct. Back to our 2-second song.
This is going to kill me. I have no idea what that is.
You don't know that one?
No.
Really?
He's nuts again.
It is not. You did get the category. It ends in again. That was Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode, which means by a 5-4 score, Joe has dealt Woods his first loss of the month.
You put a lot of pressure on me yesterday.
Woods.
I'm not that mad.
It's not. That was a tough
5-4.
category, and you did well without even getting it. But Joe, congratulations. You get to pick a Daily Diddy song tomorrow. The whole shebang. You're in for the drawing for Las Vegas.
Damn it.
I'm surprised you didn't get that Depeche Mode song. One of the ones that I enjoy quite a bit.
Damn
Got
it.
the tough one. I thought Never Going Back Again was a really tough one.
One of my
but
favorite songs.
He likes that one. Got all songs that end in the word again.
I think that was my first Diddy selection. Never Going Back Again.
Was it?
Yeah, when
Wow.
we started doing the Daily Diddy. I think that was my very first one. One of my
This is the first song
first
on the
song on the
playlist.
How about
yeah,
that?
That's one of my favorites. I
Yeah.
love
Did
it.
not
I don't know what. I don't think we had a theme.
No, we just
start,
picked whatever we wanted.
Went Never Going Back Again for Woods.
Yep.
I picked One Headlight by the Wallflowers, and Ben picked Wicked Game by Chris Isaac.
Yeah, very sexy.
Very
Back in
sexy song.
October
Ben.
of 2020, we were doing that.
All right, we get some good audio in both Don't and Do This coming up next.
Oh my God, you guys. So this is part of the reason that I don't do Zooms. The other part is that I'm lazy, but the main part is I would do something like this guy did.
Oh
my God.
That is coming up next
Oh,
after a
strap
check
in.
of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
What a song.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
You can listen to Sam Levitt's podcast, Inside San Diego Baseball. Sam covering everything going on with the Padres. Find it at 97.3thefansd.com, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'll start Don't Do This today. Little update. I know we covered this story a few weeks ago. Alabama baseball coach Brad Bohannon, remember, lost his job.
Yes.
There's a betting scandal, a gambling scandal. Someone apparently who was getting information from him tried to make a big bet at actually it was at the Cincinnati Reds ballpark, Great American Ballpark. They have a sports book.
They removed Alabama baseball from the books.
they
You could not bet on them.
They
anymore.
pulled it off. There was an investigation. We didn't get all the details. They are coming out now, and we've got the crime of the century. This is like the opposite of that. The dumbest gambling criminals of all time, because the guy who was apparently in cahoots with the Alabama baseball coach, his name is Eugene Neff Jr. So here's what he did, Woods. He walked into the BetMGM Sportsbook at the Great American Ballpark on April 28th in possession of a large amount of cash. And he walked up to the window and he said very loudly, "I would like to bet $100,000 against the against the Alabama Crimson Tide." They're playing number 1 LSU.
That already. That's a huge
no
red
one,
flag,
No
right?
one bets like that on college baseball. So immediately
Red flags.
the employees are going, okay, what's going on here? So they're alerted right away. And they say, I don't know that, we can take that bet. It's too much. And he's like, no, please. He starts going, I have inside information on this game that I want to make my bet. I totally, and he gets out his cell phone.
Oh my God.
And he has the text on the screen from the coach saying that he had just scratched his starting pitcher, his ace, because of an injury. And no one knows this. And he's like, and they can see on the cameras the text from the Alabama coach.
Look, it's right here.
Look, I gotta get this bet down. They're gonna start this guy who hasn't pitched in months, and it's supposed to be their ace. This is a can't lose bet. You need to take my 100,000. And they're going, no, sir.
You're going to
don't have
jail.
do that. And eventually, yes, the investigation showed that he got a text, absolutely, from Brad Bohannon, who he knew through some coaching circles.
Neff, it's Brad. Hey, man, you're about the dumbest sumbitch I ever seen in my life, man. Thanks for costing me my job.
I mean,
what an idiot.
I understand the temptation when you get some inside info. You make a little bet on maybe on the sly. But you don't advertise. I have inside info on this game. I want to bet $100,000.
You could get
with
20
my inside information.
Get 20 guys to go up there and bet $5,000 each.
But even that's going to raise red.
That's
20
not
guys
as much as
walking
one moron.
I'd like to bet on Alabama baseball to lose.
It's like you're a stockbroker. Hello, New York Stock Exchange.
I'd
like to do some insider trading.
Yeah, I'd like to do some insider trading.
No, I've got some insider trading information. I need to make this trade
It's
right
one of
now.
the dumbest criminals you'll ever see. I didn't know. Hell, man.
Oh, God.
Everything was happening so fast. That's incredible.
They were going to turn me down. I had to convince them.
I had no idea. So, years ago, they've always done this, actually. Like, pandemic aside, they've done virtual press conferences with new players and things like that. So the Philadelphia Flyers had a little virtual press conference on Tuesday, Ben. They had some players answering questions ahead of the upcoming season. And they had just signed veteran winger Garnett Hathaway to a 2-year contract earlier in July. And so Gianna Han of the Philadelphia Inquirer thought she would ask, well, listen, the team's clearly in a rebuild. What was attractive to you about coming to Philadelphia? And you'll hear a hot mic, and hot mic is
You're going to hear an echo.
Yeah, you hear an echo.
It's her audio and the Flyers audio as well, I think.
Yep.
Kind of mixed together. So it's a little tough to hear. But, yeah, you just laid out the question.
Yep, you laid out the question.
And
then you heard
somebody
got
forgot to put their mic on mute.
Yes.
Hi, Garnet. I was just wondering, as a veteran with a relatively successful NHL career, what makes the Flyers, who are in a rebuild state, a destination that is
How
designed?
many times is she going to ask this question?
Yeah, there's really a lot of things that go into it.
The Flyers suck. Why do you
When I look at it, it's an organization.
All right. So,
Got to break that down.
so somebody, he's a Flyers representative. He's like
Probably
probably
the social media,
media
staff,
or
yeah.
the media
yeah,
folk, and
PR guy.
says, how many times is she going to ask this effing question? So then,
Probably on all the Zooms, and she probably has asked that question
Sure.
in the past to other free agents.
as Hathaway goes to answer the question, then you hear another person in the background saying the Flyers suck. I don't think it was her though.
No, I think that was another person.
another-
in PR going. Here's what she keeps going. Yeah, the Flyers suck.
The
Why would
Flyers
you
suck.
wanna play for them?
Right.
Stop
Yeah.
asking that
a
question.
destination that is
How many
designed?
times is she going to ask this question?
Yeah, there's really a lot of things that go into it.
The Flyers suck. Why do you?
When I look at it, it's an
Yeah,
organization.
she's being sarcastic. Oh, the Flyers suck. Why do you want to sign here? So yeah, it was two people from the social media team or the media relations team.
Cringe.
Holy cow, dude. So they had to put out a statement. Earlier today, our team's social media account streamed a recording of a virtual press conference, which included disrespectful remarks by members of our social media staff. On behalf of the entire organization, I want to extend our apologies. Any disrespect towards reporters is completely unacceptable, especially when they're simply doing their job. We've reached out to the reporter and outlet personally to express our regret. We'll continue to promote an environment of mutual respect when working with media.
I wonder if behind closed doors, though, the GM's going like, "Thank you for having my back." Just
But
piling on
yeah,
us all the
potentially,
time. I don't know.
potentially. But yeah, man,
Oh, it's brutal.
those
Not a good look,
Zooms,
though.
not a good look at all. Those Zooms are they're awful. I mean, I've been on a couple of them, but I can't stand doing them, and I would definitely do something like that. You could see me like rolling my eyes at some of the questions asked, and
We could see you
Just
doing
me
that.
Yeah, yeah.
feverishly calling you. You're on.
yeah, you're on.
You're
camera,
not on
dude.
mute.
Yeah, you're not. You're
Mute
not.
your mic.
How many times she gonna ask that effing question? It sounds like me, actually, the
A
guy
little
that
bit.
said it. How many times she gonna ask this effing question? So really, really good. That guy. Yeah, you wondered though, Ben. You're right. Did the guy go, "Hey, you can't do that," but appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for selling the sizzle.
All right, finally, a little do this to wrap up the segment.
DD mega doo doo.
I remember a few months ago, we had one of the managers of the Savannah Bananas on. Very cool, little alternative baseball. You've seen some of the videos, the dancing, the quirky stuff that they do. It's baseball like the Harlem Globetrotters would do baseball.
They have a lot of rules. He explained some of them to us.
One of the weird rules he explained to us is that when a fan in the stands makes a catch, counts as an out. So, you pop one into the stands and a fan brings his glove, that's an out.
It's pretty cool.
So this was a recent game. They posted this video yesterday. 2 outs, final inning. I think they play 7, but 2 outs. The Bananas trying to close out a win, and here's how it ended.
Especially when you consider that Hosley's 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, an RBI, and a walk-off. Justin Bieber with a barrel, but foul! Caught by a fan, and that's your ball game! A laser beam from Justin Bieber! What a play by that young man! And the Nanners win 5-1.
And the entire team going out there to swarm the fan. That is why you bring your glove to a ball game. Game ender by the fans. The Bananas win it 5-1.
Are you kidding me? Look at our hero tonight.
It was awesome.
It was so
Saw the
cool.
video.
So it was like a screaming liner by a right-hander down the third base line. And they're sitting in those seats that are kind of just jutting out, facing home plate. And this guy who had his mitt just snags the ball. You don't get a great view of it there's a replay where you kind of see him making the catch, but the whole team runs over, giving him big hugs, pulls him onto the field. He's like running off to the clubhouse with the guys.
It's incredible.
He's the hero of the game. Just a fan who caught a ball in the stands that turned out to be the last out. I thought that was pretty fun and what makes the Savannah
No, I love
Bananas
it.
unique.
I love it. I absolutely loved it. I think that's obviously couldn't do it in the big leagues, but holy cow, what a fun,
Yeah.
what a fun way to get the last out.
And
of
he
the
was
game.
sitting front row. They just ripped him right
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
railing, and he's
Yeah.
running down the field with them. It was awesome.
It's incredible.
And that is don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll come back. Are we going to do the Wabbit hole coming up here, 7:35?
Yes.
All right, it's been a while.
Man, it has been a while, and I went down one yesterday. Trying to think of a really good tease here. One of them, talk about the crime of the century, Ben. The crime of the century. One person is out. And this is
I saw
unbelievable.
this. Yeah, all right.
I can't believe this is
This is
happening
perfect because I wanted more on
yeah,
this
I'll give
story
you more.
yesterday.
I'll give you more. It's
and
coming.
now we're going to get more on it coming up next with Ben
I'm
Woods
deeply entrenched in it.
on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. We still have some more audio we didn't get to and don't do this from the Debo Samuel interview that you heard right here, the Zach Gelb show that plays on CBS Radio. You sometimes hear it on 97.3 The Fan. So stay tuned for that. But first, Woodsy standing by with the return of an old favorite from all the way back at the old station days, a Wednesday Wabbit Hole, where Woods takes us a little bit deeper into something, I don't know, just a topic that has caught his, when you start looking up something on the internet and then it takes you to one website to another.
He's explaining what a rabbit hole is. I was going to do a cannibal. He was a gunfighter back in the 1800s, and he was a cannibal. I was going to do him, and I had it all locked in. And then this headline popped up.
I love being topical.
Yes.
You can always save the cannibal gunfighter.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. The cannibal gunfighter.
All right, we'll get to the Wednesday Wabbit Hole right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Well, guys, we got a traffic alert on the Silver Strand. This is northbound lanes that are shut down at this time at Coronado Case Boulevard, all due to an accident involving a motorcycle. So if you normally take that route, be prepared for some delays and traffic diversions. Also got a crash on the northbound side of the 5 just past Balboa. It's in the center divide. Fire crews got that fast lane blocked. And traveling on the northbound 15 just past the 8 reports of a stalled big rig, but not showing if lanes are blocked. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Time to go inside the mind of Stephen Woods.
1, 2.
Let's see what dark and twisted rabbit hole our old pal Woods discovered on the internet yesterday. It's Woodsy's Wednesday Rabbit Hole on 97.3 The Fan.
So many years ago, I was about 11 years old, and my dad it was like a Friday night, he said, "Why don't you go grab a pillow, and I want you to watch this movie with me." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "It's called Helter Skelter." And I said, "All right." And it had come out in 1976, so it was just a re-airing of it. It was about 11, 12 maybe, and it was at that moment where I became interested in what the hell was going on. And Charles Manson was played by a guy named Steve Railsback. By the way, one of the more accurate portrayals that you'll ever see. And the movie scared me to death. I mean, scared me to death. And, it's been something that we've heard about, Ben. Your family being from that area, living in that area around this time. I mean, I'm sure they know people that know people. You know what I'm saying? We had the kind of reemergence of it all when Quentin Tarantino did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they had a Manson character there. Still chills me to the core every time I see an old interview with him. Just like it just chills my bones, man. So when I saw the headline this week that former Manson family member Leslie Van Houten was going to be paroled, and in fact, as we sit here at 7:45, Ben, on July 12th, she is breathing the air of a free woman.
She's 53 years.
53 years in prison. She was convicted March 29th, 1971. The youngest woman sentenced to death in California. They had to create a special area for her. There were no young women on death row. Now, the appellate court ended up wiping out the death penalty. So she's been sitting in jail forever. Now, it wigged me out to no end when I saw this. There is a member of the Manson family that is walking the earth right now. They're walking the earth free. Now, she's got 3 years at least of parole. She's in a halfway house, 79 years old, somewhere around there, I think. But I dug down again, and I started wanting to read more about it yesterday. So I did. Yeah, 5 decades behind bars. She's 73 years old. the family of Jay Sebring, who was one of the victims that was murdered, told the LA Times on Tuesday, the release was expected. It doesn't make it any less painful. It doesn't lessen the blow. It's just as mind-numbing, nauseating, gut-wrenching, and painful to think that this release is real. So it opens up, I mean, about a million cans of worms. When you think about what she testified to. So she was.
I mean, everyone kind of knows the name,
Yeah.
but I don't really know the whole story.
So
and what involvement that each person had and how much were they like brainwashed in this whole scenario? So I'm very curious about all this.
The answer to the brainwash question is very much so. And that's where people do feel some degree of sympathy for her, in that she was dosed with LSD every day by Charles Manson out at Spawn Ranch, and said in her parole hearing, she at that point couldn't imagine living a life that wasn't under psychedelia. Like she was just, it was in her every day. Manson used to dose all of his people. And it was a huge thing. So Charles Manson wanted a race war. He wanted to helter skelter. He wanted a race war in LA, and he wanted to start it, and he wanted to blame it on people of color. And we all know the grisly details of the Tate murders. Well, 4 days later, a gentle, kind grocer named Lino LaBianca and his wife Rosemary were brutally murdered and stabbed in their home, and that was Leslie Van Houten and two other members of the Manson family. Ben, I mean, and she literally testified to holding the Rosemary down and then stabbing her after she was dead. So this is a clear murderer. Charlie Manson actually had the least amount of blood on his hands than anyone, in the fact that he didn't actually go in and do the dirty work. But all I know is when I saw this story pop out, I went, because I've known that name. I've known that name since I was 11 years old. She's free. She's free and living amongst, probably not us, but she's living amongst free people that didn't commit these murders. And I was absolutely blown away. And, her attorney came out and said, hey, listen, it's not all going to be roses for her. She's got to learn how to use the internet. She's got to learn how to buy things without cash. It's a very different world than when she went in. After hearing from the victims, like, we all want rehabilitation is a real thing, right? You steal a couple cars, you get involved with the wrong crowd. Yes, you deserve a second chance at life, right? Like, you deserve a chance to serve your time and be free again and hope that you stay out. This one feels a little different. And apparently she's been a model prisoner. She's made great strides. How much sympathy do you have for the fact that she was a young, impressionable, under the influence cult member? I don't know. But I was talking to Hannah. I was talking to Hannah about it. I was like, listen, I can get behind. I'm all about second and third chances in a lot of cases. It feels like there are certain crimes, though, especially the crime of this magnitude,
right,
that captivated an entire world. Like, I feel like the Manson family should stay in jail. Like, I don't think it's that spicy of a take to say that the Manson family should be in prison till they die, right?
Well, I mean, obviously it got so much attention. That shouldn't be a factor. Now, is there other people who committed similar crimes that weren't quite as publicized, that after 50 years in prison were also released? Or are they treating her the same as they would anyone else? I
Potentially.
think that's what you, in my mind, that's what you ask from a justice system.
Right.
Everyone should be treated exactly the same, whether or not their crime was, they made TV movies about it, or it went under the radar and no one even had heard about it.
It's the
Everyone
brutal,
should be treated equally under the justice system.
Agreed. But I think it's the brutal nature that was so highly publicized. Like, we obviously don't know everything that's happened in every case, but this one, to me, man, when you put it that way, one of the Manson family has been released from prison. One of the instrumental members of the Manson family that was responsible for this grisly murder. Man, I couldn't get enough of it yesterday. I listened to a podcast. I was like all over it yesterday. I was all in. I don't know why. I don't know what part of my brain needs that satiation, but I've just been following it since I was a kid. And for her to have part in it. And then you hear from Sharon Tate's daughter, and she's like, I absolutely think this is the wrong decision. And when the families come in, the families of the victims, that's where my real sympathy lies, right? The fact that Yes, she did some time. She did a lot of time, actually, but the sentence was for life. It was actually for death, but then it became life in prison, and life in prison was not. She's actually going to be out and will get to live the last remaining years out on her own.
You mentioned that you said that she was considered to be a model prisoner, like did everything she was supposed to. If you know that you never have any chance to get out or anything good can happen, how do you like get people to then behave well in prison at that point? If you know,
I don't know. I have no idea. But I do know that it when you hear from the families, and Deborah Tate is she's very active in keeping all of the Manson folk behind bars. I don't know, man. Leslie Van Houten freed is a headline I did not expect to read, and she'd been turned down, Ben, for parole like 23 times, and finally Governor Newsom was overruled finally in like his fourth attempt to block it, and so yeah, she is free and living in a halfway house. And honestly, you hope for the best, but got to be a huge blow to the families of the victims, certainly. So gnarly story. There's a few more guys that like Bobby Beausoleil still in prison. Tex Watson runs a ministry out of prison now, I believe, in Texas. He was one of the brutal killers from the Manson family too. So crazy. She's out there.
You asked about, my family growing up.
Yes, in LA.
LA at that time. I just got a text from my mom, and one of her very good friends went to high school with Leslie Van Houten.
Oh, so, yeah. I knew it. I knew there had to be some sort of connection there, because as the Manson family lived on the outskirts of LA at Spawn Ranch, and just that crime was so big. It was so shocking. That's amazing. So she's free. She's a free woman, Benjamin. It creeps me out. If you haven't seen the 1976 miniseries Helter Skelter with Steve Railsback, like, he may be scarier than the real Charles Manson. He did such a good job. He haunted my dreams. I was like, Dad, how dare you? So, like, I'll never show that. So I was like 12.
Wow.
And it was, I'll show you a picture.
Barry, what were you thinking?
I mean, he wanted me to be up on it, but holy smokes, it's pretty shocking to know that she's out there. So there you go. There's your rabbit hole. I missed it. I missed doing the rabbit hole.
I'm glad you brought it back. I kind of want to make some time for it every Wednesday. I mean,
well, it's hard during baseball season.
Yeah, you can't always come up with one, but now I'm looking forward to the cannibal story sometime in the
future. Yes, there
well.
was a cannibal gunfighter, and I can do that one. Well, next time Padres have an off day, like on a Tuesday or something, I'll do it on Wednesday.
We'll figure it out. Absolutely. Good job, Woodsy. Very nice. All right, it is 7:53. We got a minute or two left before the midpoint of our show today. I do want to get into a couple more topics in the second half. We mentioned the big decisions facing AJ Preller coming up. Also had some news from Rob Manfred yesterday, some of it involving the San Diego Padres that he was talking about in terms of their new streaming television broadcast that I thought was kind of interesting.
That was interesting. Can you, Ben, explain to me what exactly the mayor of Oakland did for Rob Manfred? Do you know that story?
I don't know that part of the story.
Right, I'll look it up quickly.
I know that
no is the answer.
Yeah,
I know Rob Manfred also was talking about potential pitch clock rules in the playoffs. Apparently, it's not necessarily a given that we're just going to have the same pitch clock rules in the postseason that we do in the regular season. There's been some talk about changing them for the playoffs, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on whether you think that the playoffs are a different sort of animal, or after you play 162 regular season games, should you just play the playoffs under the exact same rules that you just played in an entire regular season under? Kind of, it's a debate because the Players Union has some thoughts. Rob Manfred has some thoughts, and they haven't decided yet exactly what October is going to look like this year.
You already bang one of your rules in the postseason that you have in the regular season. And that's the runner on second rule. They played a 17 inning game, Seattle and Houston last year. And so if you're just banging rules willy-nilly, give these guys 5 extra seconds. Who cares? That's kind of where I fall on that.
Well, or do you just take the pitch clock out entirely?
Right.
And play the games as long as you
need to,
as you want to
in a playoff game,
or do you just add a couple of seconds? They're considering all the different possibilities.
Imagine you get to the wild card round in the NFL and there's just no play clock.
You just stand there calling out audibles the whole time, burning clock. It's different.
I know.
It is
All right,
different.
we'll get to some of those stories in the second
It's
half of
unique
Ben
in
and
that
Woods.
sense, though, where no other sport changes.
Yeah,
the
I know,
rules.
but they're already doing it. They already do it. So I don't understand why you wouldn't do this.
All right, we will get to all that coming up. Second half of Ben and Woods, a Ryan will report as well. All ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Wednesday, Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. I'm Woodsy. To my right is Paul Reindel's got his shades on. It's supposed to be summer break in here. You're on summer break, but we're working. Benjamin Higgins to my left is in a flowered Hawaiian shirt, and you look very sharp in that shirt. That is a good look for you, the Hawaiian shirt look.
Better than you think it is for yourself, because you didn't love your look yesterday.
I didn't hate it. I liked the Padres Hawaiian. It's the only Hawaiian shirt I have is the Padres one, and I liked it. I thought it looks okay on me. But
I usually try to wait until actual trips to Hawaii to break these out. But
do they like you wearing those there, or do they feel like?
No, I think it's appropriate. They all wear them there. Like
they know him
yeah.
pretty well by now.
They know him. They just call them shirts there.
Yeah, it's a shirt. It's not Hawaiian. It's a shirt. I got a new shirt. I don't know. I've only been once, and I didn't recall a lot of people walking around in them, but it's been a long time since I went. And so you're saying, and I'm not talking about a restaurant, right? Like you go into a restaurant and they have Hawaiian shirts on. When you go into, if you're just walking down the street, do you see a lot of people that you recognize? Oh, he's Hawaiian, and he's also wearing a Hawaiian shirt, or is that a tourist thing? I don't know.
I think it's an actual.
That's a part of the
common something that they wear.
Not my shirt.
Yeah, it's not my shirt. Like if you go to Texas,
everyone's wearing a cowboy.
Would you
hat.
wear boots and a cowboy hat? You would.
Doesn't everybody? I mean,
No.
you just want to fit in.
I lived there
I know.
a long time. I never owned a cowboy hat.
There are more Hawaiian shirts in Hawaii than boots and cowboy hats in Texas.
Right, but I don't know about that. But
per capita. Yeah.
Never known what that means. Much like insurance. I don't know how insurance works, and I don't know what per capita means. I'll admit that freely on the radio. I have no idea. But I hear it and I say it, and it sounds great. Oh, per capita. Yeah. What's my deductible? Okay. No idea. Zero. None. No idea.
It's when you're getting your oil change, they got to replace the per capita.
Right, the per capita.
Nothing to do. One
costs
has nothing to
$300.
do
No, it
with-
doesn't. But those are
doesn't have
just
anything to
two
do with
things.
insurance.
Those are two things in my life where I go, yeah, sounds good. And I have no idea what you're saying. But I use it. I use per capita. But
You want me to mansplain
Not
it or
really.
not?
Well,
He's getting a haircut. Would you like
We'll
us to
skip
add some
that
per
over.
capita?
Can you do per capita on the sides?
Yeah, it's an extra $60.
Was that my
Deal,
deductible
there you
for
go.
this? $60 is my deductible? Okay, sounds good. No idea how any of it works. None. Zero. Johnny says.
No wonder you end up
So-
paying $300 for an oil
So
change.
Johnny says in the
Well,
chat.
here's your deductible fee, and here's your per capita fee. Woods.
You cannot drive anymore on this per capita.
So I'm not like I said, I'm genuinely asking the question. If people in Hawaii see guys like Ben walking around in that shirt, are they like idiot? Because Johnny says in the chat, that's like going to TJ and walking around with a sombrero. You look like an idiot. If you went to Texas and you were walking around in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat,
Yes, I think you'd look like an idiot. And I think if you were walking around in Tijuana wearing a sombrero, you'd look like an idiot. But I don't think that's the case while wearing a Hawaiian shirt in Hawaii.
So I think we may be going as a family next July. Can I just bring T-shirts, regular old shirts?
Yes,
Yes.
T-shirts are also very common, but it's pretty much like no one dresses up in Hawaii.
Right.
No one's wearing
No
a
one dresses
suit
up here.
and a tie. Like if you go to work, a lot of people work in the hospitality industry. You said restaurants, hotels. That's pretty much what they're wearing. You work behind the desk at the hotel, they're wearing a Hawaiian shirt. They go to work in Hawaiian shirts,
Part
and
of the
then
uniform.
Is it just one big bit?
and then when
though?
they're
How
off,
about
and then maybe when they're off, they put on a T-shirt at the end of the day.
They
But
don't take one Hawaiian shirt off and put on another
I don't know.
more
Maybe they do,
comfortable
maybe
Hawaiian
they
shirt.
don't.
Well, you're the expert. That's why I'm asking you, Lord Hawaii.
Well,
I have
I don't
no
get to go.
idea.
I don't get to go home with the staff, Woods.
You could if you played your cards right, potentially. It worked in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, another movie Ben has not seen. That is so good.
So
It's so
frustrating.
good. Native locals know you're a tourist wearing a Hawaiian shirt, Robert says. Yeah. Don't do it anymore, maybe.
Or you're just getting off of work, and you're wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Guys, I'm not
I'm not a
pretending.
tourist.
I just got off work.
off work. That's why I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt.
So good. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, listen, you do look good in it. It's a good look for you. I do think so.
Thank you.
Legitimately.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's sharp.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We're divided on this in the chat. I don't know. Pivot.
You want me to do this?
Yeah. You teased something.
Paulie,
what did you tease?
I didn't tease anything.
You did. You
I mean, I
just
teased a lot of things.
Oakland and Rob
All right,
Manfred.
well,
and
first of all, the
I
pitch
just gave
clock,
you 6 minutes. What do you want?
that's fine.
Holy cow.
The pitch clock rules may or may not be changing for the postseason. Rob Manfred said yes.
Sports.
Baseball.
Paulie knows that, we started this segment and I go, which direction do you want me to go? And he goes, don't worry about it.
I got it. I
covered.
just gave you
This is
6 minutes.
This is the restart. So I thought, all right, I'll let
You
Woodsy
did ask me
handle
to
it.
pull some audio.
And then you look.
Oh, I did. I
yeah,
forgot.
and then you look at
I
us
forgot.
like, what's going on here? Like,
Forgot. We got off on a tangent.
it's fine.
We've been having some look backs this
We
week.
We did. Oh, do you want to play it? Let's play it.
Let's play it here.
And then we can get to the pitch clock stuff because I think that's
nothing
important.
but time.
We
for
have
the
literally
pitch clock.
nothing but time. Yeah.
There's no pitch clock on this.
There is no,
segment.
well, there actually is. We
A
have
little
8
bit.
minutes. Pitch clock on that.
So we've been taking a look back at the first half. Look, we got plenty of time tomorrow. The rest of the day, we can give out your Padres first half grades if you really want.
Can't do it.
Ben's report card
Oh,
D.
says
There,
Ben.
we're done.
Defense, I'm going to give an A to. We're doing this. Now you've led me down the
There
report
we
card
go.
path.
We're good.
But we've been taking a look at just our show moments for the first half.
Yeah,
of
our all-stars,
2023.
if you will.
Yeah, we played the clip of Woods hungover as hell on the day after opening day. Just
So mad.
ripping-
Season's lost.
ripping Blake Snell for having single-digit strikeouts or whatever it was. This one we go back to January 31st.
Okay.
Wow, we're
And-
before the season.
We were talking, it looks like there might have been a Rinder Report story. We're talking about tattoos at some point that led to, Ben, would you get a tattoo?
Yeah, I've been begging
What
him
would you get,
to get a
etc.
tattoo.
And it delivered this gem. Ben, if you could get anything tattooed, now this was an Ask Us Anything segment.
Really
That was a
don't like the
terrible
idea
idea.
of tattoos on my own body. I love my wife's tattoos. I love watching them, but I
Watching them.
looking at them.
Watching them?
That's,
You like, yeah, I like
Creepier.
seeing them. What
What?
would you get?
if I had to get something, never really thought about that. Maybe something golf related somewhere, like a
Like a golf tee?
like a tee. Yes, a little tee.
Where would you put it?
a lower back right here?
A tramp stamp. A
Of
tee
a golf
pointing
tee.
right down to his butthole. A golf tee.
I'll give you
I'll give you I'll
$1,000.
have 1,000 on it. If you get a golf tee tramp stamp, I will do anything.
We will pay for the tattoo and,
And give you
$1,000.
He's a tramp stamp with a T on his
Pointing down.
back.
Point right down.
Time to tee it up. I got first licks. Here we
We're gonna
go.
put 19th hole.
Your Honor, above it. It's
Oh
incredible.
my God.
A T of all things. What about like a one on your forearm? That's kind of hard ass.
I
Like
don't
inner.
want to be.
You don't want to be hard ass.
No, not really. That's not my style.
But you did say if you were going to get one, it would be
Golf related.
golf related. Like a Callaway logo. What's it look like? What is?
Hey,
I
for
bet-
the right sponsorship
I
opportunities.
mean, I've seen a lot of.
The
I'm a
Ben Woods
Callaway
open
guy,
flag.
so-
Yeah, Ben Woods open flag. I've seen a lot of sports tattoos. You see them a ton.
It's usually logos of somebody's favorite team or something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
can honestly say
the
though,
Ryder Cup.
on your calf, right? Oh, did you play in the Ryder Cup? No, I just really like it. Dude, like I can say, I've seen people with Charger bolts. I've seen people with Padres logos, swinging fryers, the whole bit. I can honestly say I've never seen a golf tattoo. Have you?
I
What
don't
would
know,
it
that
even
would be-
look like? Is it a ball? Like, oh man, you really love golf a lot. Like, I love golf, but I'm not getting a golf tattoo.
I think there's probably. I bet recently there's been more golf. Golf is so popular nowadays. and
is.
It's becoming more casual, open to everybody. I bet if you go around like Goat Hill, you're going to see a golf tattoo.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A
Yeah.
couple of places. Got to be a couple of golf tattoos out there now.
What do you get? A ball on a tee,
A little flag stick. Like
flag stick,
Yeah.
maybe your lowest score. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but what if you break your lowest score? Do you
Put
have
an
to
X
just cross
through
it
it
out
and
and
then
keep lowering it?
One
until-
on, yeah. Look how good I've gotten over the last 5 years.
104, 98, 95, 92.
89 with a circle. I would have my 77 emblazoned onto my arm in a heartbeat. I've never gotten close since.
Now you don't feel like you're like on the verge of bettering that right now. I know.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll probably never get better than my 77. But I will always
You
have
never
my
know.
7. I'll
You
never.
may.
I'll
You
always
may do
have it.
that.
No one will ever take it away from me. But holy cow, that made me laugh, Paulie. A golf tee on his lower back.
I would want it somewhere where I couldn't see it.
Right.
Because if I saw it, it would distract me and it would bother me. So it would need to be out of sight, out of mind if I ever got a tattoo.
Are you looking up golf tattoos?
Yeah.
Hopefully. People have them?
Yeah. There's a
Put it in the chat.
yeah, it's on the chat.
Sorry, radio people.
Silhouette of Phil Mickelson.
Oh, like
Golf.
Ben Hogan.
Just the word golf.
Golf. There's Ben Hogan swing. That's pretty cool, actually. That looks really good. That's amazing. All right. Well, there you go. We got through it, buddy.
Live Tour logo.
Yeah, Live Tour logo. Somebody's got the TaylorMade ball. Golf. This one just
Look at
says.
this one.
All right. Well, anyway, we got through it, and now let's go to your sports. Yes.
Sports. So the Players Union actually has proposed adding an indeterminate number of seconds to the 15 and 20 second pitch clocks for the postseason.
Now, when can
Whether
they
it's 17 and 22 or 20 and 25?
When can they lobby for this? Now, that's that what they're doing.
That's what they're doing right now
because they haven't agreed.
Tony Clark's talking to. Yeah, they agreed to it during the regular season, or they agreed that they couldn't basically stop it. And Rob Manfred implemented the pitch clock rule over the objection of a lot of players who have now, by the way. Even Juan Soto, who hated it, says, "Yeah, I've pretty much gotten used to it. I don't like having to rush up to home plate, but other than that, he said, I am fully used to the pitch clock." So my question would be, why would you change it now for the postseason? Are people, the players are going, "Hey, it's a huge moment. You don't want someone to feel rushed when the season is on the line, when the World Series is on the line."
Not only that, my friend, but you don't want to see what we've seen. You don't want to see some umpire gets a buzz on his wrist in a huge situation, jumps out behind home plate, points at the pitcher, points up to the score box, and bangs him for a strike. You don't want to see it, man.
Especially if it happened to be like the final out, strike 3 to end the World Series.
Absolutely could happen.
Or, ball 4 to force in the winning run in a critical Game 7 situation of the postseason. I agree. Now, we've barely seen any of that during the regular season. Happened a couple times in spring training. You still have a pitch clock violation. I think it's like 2 out of every 5 games has one pitch clock violation. And
Someone's assessed a strike or a
usually
ball.
It's an extra strike or a ball early in the count somewhere. I can't remember any time recently where, hey, ball 4 was just called on a pitch clock violation, or, an out to end an inning was called on a pitch clock violation. My proposal would be keep the rules exactly the same because everyone's used to them. Everyone knows them. But instead of assessing a violation on the first offense, give the pitcher or the batter, you get a warning on your first offense. And then you get the violation. So as long as no one's even been warned, there's no danger of a game or an inning or a critical moment ending on a pitch clock violation. You would simply get that warning, and then okay, now I've just got to make sure it doesn't happen again. But I think that would give you just a bit of a safety zone in the postseason if you added that one layer of just a warning, whether it's 1 per inning or 1 per game or 1 per batter, per pitcher. You get one warning before they start assessing the violation.
Here's what sucks. You make all these changes to baseball, right? And everyone agrees to the bigger bases, the no shift, the clock, everything else. Then you have the extra inning rule. And then what do they do in the postseason? They say, well, we're gonna eliminate some. That's the weird part to me. You don't see a lot of, and Paulie, you were right. I mean, you don't see a lot of other sports grandly changing the rules for the postseason. If those rules were
the only thing I can think of is like ties during the regular season. Obviously, you can't have a tie in the playoffs.
I mean, in football, instead of a 10-minute overtime, they play in 15-minute overtimes, and someone has to win. In hockey,
in the playoffs,
in hockey in the playoffs, you go from a 5-minute overtime to you could play 4 overtimes. You just keep playing until someone scores. There's no shootout. There's no shootout at the end of the game.
You're not getting rid of icing.
They're not getting rid of the forward pass in the 4th overtime. Like, if the rules made the game, if the new rules made the game better, as you claimed that they did, and they would, and they have worked, they have sped up the games. Offense is up. why it's a weird thing to me that they now say, yes, I know we changed those games, but it's just for the regular season. Postseason's going to be. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
I also
am.
think that if you went away from the pitch clock in the postseason, people have gotten so used to it that they'd feel like the game was dragging on forever. If pitchers, I don't
in
know
the postseason,
I don't know that you would.
I want as much as I can get.
I think it would feel almost too slow.
Maybe.
You know, I was listening to Chris Ello saying, and he said, I went back and watched a game from last season, and I couldn't stand it. It took so long for the pitchers to deliver a pitch, and I've gotten so used to, hey, throw the pitch. Let's get to the next pitch. Here we go. Let's play baseball.
I don't think I can go back and
you
watch.
Couldn't go back. He said, you can't go back and watch games. You know, from the last few years. They feel like they take forever for anything to happen.
What was that video?
I don't think you want to do that in the postseason.
John Boy Media posted a video when this all started earlier in the year, and it was like an entire half inning took place in
the span of like two
pitches, 3 pitches.
Most. It's true. But then if you change the rules because they're so great and it improves the game so much,
I think you have to keep them.
I think so too. Why then revert? I was all for giving him an extra 5 seconds.
And Rob Manfred really doesn't want to. He wants to keep it. It's the players' union that says, let's give these players a couple extra seconds when so much is on the line in the postseason.
Why aren't more people upset about the 3 batter minimum? That's one that I would do you asked me a couple weeks ago what I would camp outside for. That.
Well, that was to speed up the game, and it doesn't speed up the game.
No,
the pitch clock sped up the game. The 3 batter minimum doesn't really do anything. So get rid of it. I agree with you.
I would pick
rid of it.
I wouldn't pick it for much. I would pick it for that today. I hate it. I can't stand it.
All right, that wasn't the only thing Rob Manfred had to say. He also talked about the Padres and their streaming television numbers. I think it's kind of interesting what he had to say there. We'll get to that coming up after a quick check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Talking about some of Rob Manfred's comments over the All-Star break, just discussed the pitch clock and whether or not it's going to be implemented or changed at all for the postseason. He also was asked about the Padres and the Bally Sports and rights fees payments going away, and had a couple of interesting comments yesterday, Woods. He said that subscriptions for the Padres MLB-produced streaming feeds are now well into 5 figures. So that means over 10,000 San Diegans have subscribed to the $19.99 per month to be able to stream Padres games in their home market.
Okay.
Whether you want to watch them on your phone or on your computer or stream them to your television at home, that's over 10,000 subscribers, which sounds not bad. I mean, 10,000 people that are all paying $20 a month. However, even if it's 10,000 and they all paid $20 a month over the last 4 months of the season, which is, what they had left. So that'd be $80 for 10. That's $800,000. That's essentially the salary of one minimum.
All right, Brandon Dixon paid for
over the course of the season.
Good to go. Problem solved.
So it's not exactly
Shohei Ohtani. Come on down.
It wouldn't exactly be a windfall for the San Diego Padres in terms of streaming television profits that they're making on their new in-house produced telecasts. Now, that does not include you or me. I get games through my Spectrum cable now.
You've got
Cox, and you don't. Those numbers would not be included in the streaming only. These are people who don't have DirecTV or cable who are getting the Padres simply by cutting the cord and paying the Padres in a Major League Baseball directly for that product. I don't know if well into 5 figures. Now that could mean 92,000 as well. That's well into 5 figures. 11,000 could also be considered well into 5 figures.
I'm leaning towards more like 11,000.
Me too.
Otherwise, I would say we're damn near 6 figures.
Yeah, the way he said it makes you think, well, they're probably just a little over 10,000 somewhere.
Sounds like he's polishing a turd a little bit.
I mean, how many can you really expect, though, in a market the size of San Diego? You got 40,000 people every night at the games. That's a good chunk of your Padres fans right there. And I know there are a lot of them at home, but my guess is at least 70 or 80% are still getting them on TV the way they normally did on cable, whether you're watching on Channel 4 or Channel 305 or however you're watching the Padres. And then you've added another 10,000 plus who are getting the feed.
Brass tacks, though.
Well, brass tacks, yeah, they're probably not making as much money as they were under the Bally Sports deal that they were getting from
definitely.
Almost certainly. Now, Rob Manfred also said they backstopped financially, any losses that teams have had. I don't know if that will continue in future years, though, whether they can count on Major League Baseball to supplement their media rights income, or whether that's something that Peter Seidler is going to have to continue or consider when, making out the player budgets for future years. Like, hey, we had this plan. We were expecting X amount. Now we're getting X minus 30%, based on our subscriptions and where it's actually coming in. Do we have to reevaluate how much we can afford in player salary in the future?
What is Bally's or Diamond Sports Group? What are they on the hook for still?
Nothing.
They're free and clear.
They're bankrupt. They're done. I don't believe that they're going to pay any more money because they don't have the rights anymore. So instead of taking more money,
but there's no back contract.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think. They made their rights fees payments until they stopped. And once they stopped, they took away the rights from them. But I don't think they can really squeeze any more dollars out of that turnip, as it were. So it's now up to the Padres to make their own revenue when it comes to rights fees. And I don't know what, they're getting paid advertising. See, now it's not just the subscriptions, but all the ads that you watch during the Padres games, that money that had been going to Bally's, all the commercials that you watch will now go directly to the Padres and Major League Baseball. So they're making money off of that, maybe more than they are in the subscriptions to begin with. From advertisers. So there's additional sources of revenue from their streaming broadcasts and from their television broadcasts. We don't really know what those numbers look like and how much
never will.
How much in the hole or how much extra Peter Seidler is making out of this. And you're right, we probably won't ever know exactly what the financial impact is. All we can see is, well, in the future seasons, is Padres payroll going up? Is it going down? Will it have an impact? It may, and we may never be exactly sure what that impact is.
I will be honest, my eyes do glaze over a little bit when we talk about Padres financials because it seems like a futile discussion because we don't know. And like you said, we'll probably never know. I don't know what the ledger looks like in that office, and nor really do I want to. If he invited me up there to show me, I don't know. You know,
Here's the per capita.
This is per capita. Woodsy, here's our deductible for this. So we're actually in good shape. So I think we're fine. I don't know. Sounds good, Peter.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe him. Look, they went into this season knowing this was a possible. This did not catch them unaware.
No.
That's what people need to remember. That it did not catch them. If they weren't worried about it, would they have laid out 280 for Xander? I don't think they would have. I really don't.
I agree.
I really don't. If you knew,
because it was a coin flip whether or not Bally's was even going to make the first right.
100%. So it's not like they're like, oh, Bally's did what? They did what? They knew this was coming. There was some sort of planned preparation from it. All we can do really as fans is trust what our owner says, and I do. That no, we're going to be set up to compete for a long time. We're going to be in this thing. This is not a one and done type situation. I mean, when you say that on these airwaves and TV and everywhere else that he said it, you put yourself on the hook for that. So I trust him. I trust him until he's given me a reason to prove otherwise. But again, you can't belabor that point enough. They knew this was a possibility and planned for it. That gives me great comfort.
And no one has come. We haven't heard Eric Gruppener or Peter Seidler say, hey, I don't know that we can do that anymore because of this. They have not made any excuses whatsoever. They filled the park. The people are paying good money for tickets, merchandise, concessions at the ballpark.
The other thing is,
no one's crying poverty.
I doubt very much they're going to say, yeah, we're going to raise season ticket prices. Yeah, I know they raised them a little bit, and I think for a good reason. You know, great product on paper, but I don't know that they're going to go. Just so you guys know, season tickets up 200%. We're going to raise those for next year. I don't think that's going to happen. I've been wrong many times before.
But if they come back and win the World Series, you can think about doing something like that. It's hard if they end up missing the playoffs,
fizzling out,
a disappointing season to justify that increase.
I feel like that they knew this was coming, or at least the potential for it.
All right, we get some callers on the line, including someone who apparently has a golf tattoo idea for me.
Oh, good.
So we should probably get to that. We'll take more of our look backs from the first half of Ben and Woods, first half of 2023 on the show as well as we continue our summer break week with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on Bennett Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Continuing our look back at the first half of the year here on Bennett Woods, Padres season. Some of our favorite moments, and we just heard the one a couple of minutes ago when Woods and Paul trying to goad me into getting a tattoo, possibly a golf-related tattoo, but we could never come up with a or like a
golf tee,
like a tee. Yes, a little tee.
Where would you put it?
The lower back, right here.
A tramp stamp.
Maybe
A
that's
tee
of a golf
pointing
tee.
right down to his butthole.
Thanks a lot, Woods, for that image. Appreciate that.
You gave us the image.
Yeah, you could have said calf or
Could have said
shoulder blade.
I don't want to be able to see it though. Shoulder blade, maybe. Christy is on the line. She says she has an idea for a Ben golf tattoo. Hello, Christy.
Well, hello, Ben. Yeah, I have to stop you from getting a T as a tramp stamp.
Thank you.
So I think you should take one of your favorite greens or a green that you haven't been on and get a tattoo of the green, like maybe Augusta with the flowers in the background, and then have your ball just teetering on the hole.
Like about to
drop
into the
Like,
cup.
so this
like
is-
sinking a putt.
This is like an entire landscape.
This is a back
possibly.
piece, my friend. This
Like a
is an
full-
entire.
Yeah, this is going to take up like the entire real estate.
I will take out a
on my
loan
back.
from a bank.
Like the
today.
12th hole
Yeah.
at Augusta over Rays Creek, and then
Yep.
with the beautiful flowers in the background and the pine trees, and then my ball is on the green, just teetering over the edge of the cup, about to fall in for a hole in one. What an amazing moment!
What would be the cup in this
I have a lot
hypothetical?
I have a lot of
tattoo?
moles.
Make one
so-
of your moles the ball. Teeter.
I have a lot of back moles.
Got anything we can work with back there?
Yeah, the
There's a lot of balls on this green.
the
Are you guys
dermatologist
playing an eight?
just took 2 of them off the other day. So
We can work with that. Actually, we can work. We can work with your moles as balls. One of your moles as a ball is spectacular, and then you cover up the rest of your moles with a giant back piece.
better than your nipples as balls.
That's exactly right. Tiny little nipples.
What is happening?
No, that's I like that. I like that.
All right. I do we have any other moments that we can get to after a little check of traffic so we can get off of tattoo talk with Ben? I'd appreciate
And
that.
ball moles.
We'll be back after
Mole
traffic
balls.
here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by 7-Eleven. A lot of activity on our roads this morning, guys, or inactivity if you want to count this stalled big rig that's causing some major problems along northbound 15 just past the 8th. They've issued a traffic alert because it is blocking middle lanes. Maybe they have to run a break to clear that, but we want to avoid that. Also, northbound side of the 805, just past the 15, we have reports of some debris in lanes. Another traffic alert on the Silver Strand. This is heading northbound. Those lanes are blocked. The Coronado Cays will occur a motorcycle accident. Traveling on the southbound 15, right before Ocean View, collision over to the right shoulder. Looks like they're still carrying an accident on the northbound 5, just past Balboa. It's in the center divide. And on the coastline, Cannon Road on-ramp to northbound 5, getting reports of an accident involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. Small cherry Slurpee drinks are only $1 at 7-Eleven. It's a drink so full of bold, fruity flavor. That's the amazing price. It's just the cherry on top. Stop in the 7-Eleven to get any small Slurpee drink for $1. Slurpee, anything flows. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Ben & Woods summer break continuing here on 97.3 The Fan.
It is.
Yeah.
It has.
Can we get off of tattoo talk now?
We can get on to you not paying attention talk,
Well,
which is always fun.
Is there any clips that we have that don't cast me in a negative light? Would be nice.
Let me look at the sound sheet here
Not
real
really.
quick. No. Fister, we did that one already. Tramp stamp. We already played that one. Things Ben likes. We've played that a bunch. No, let's do trade deadline's coming up soon here in a couple weeks. And everyone, you got to remember, around the trade deadline, I see when I log into Ben & Woods Twitter, I see Seymour Butts is tweeting about all these rumors that he's heard. We hear from Jeff Passan every year. We hear from Ken Rogenthal, and you got to be careful. Carlos Baerga.
Double check this time of year.
Remember, Carlos Baerga was he had a little bit of a moment, and I still see him. I follow him on Instagram, and he does a live video every day. He must do a show on Instagram, and he's pretty dialed in. with the community there, and he knows a lot of these ball players. He played in the big leagues for a long time, but we were talking about something. I think it was towards the beginning of the year, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
There we go. Carlos
Oh,
Baerga has
he
been
kinda gets scoops.
I
every
saw him
now
like
and then.
this morning. Like
he's been scooping fools left and right. And on his Instagram yesterday, he tweeted this: a very good rumor let us know that Carlos Correa and the Mets are agreeing to some terms, contract revisions pending MLBPA approval. Unsure of new terms, wouldn't expect official news until tomorrow afternoon, meaning today, but Mets fans can start breathing again. I like that the name of his Twitter page or his site or his podcast is Me Gustan Los Deportes. I like sports.
Simple, but
Yeah,
effective.
very effective.
Carlos Baerga, former Padre.
Yeah. He played here?
33 games.
Bring
For
it home,
I thought I
Ben.
remembered it, so I just looked it up. 33 games for the Padres in the 1999 season before, and that was it. He was in the minors for a little bit, 39 games, and then he was bought by the Cleveland Indians at the time in August of
He
that
was
year.
a good player. He was a good player in his day. And now he's been right on a few things this offseason as well. So I'm like, oh God, here I go. I gotta go find and put on notifications for Carlos Baerga now. I mean, he's trying to get into the scoops business. Not an easy business to get into.
Does he know where Carlos Correa is going to end up? For sure.
I mean, it was like 5 minutes of me explaining it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening again.
I know. It's a matter of time. It was just a matter of time.
Did you say that while I was looking up whether he played for the Padres? Because I thought he did.
Yep. I told my wife yesterday. My wife is my beloved Hannah is not, and she would admit this. She's not a good multitasker. She cannot sign her name and answer a question. at the same
No
time.
one's worse than me, though.
And I told her, I go, you do realize my entire life, the people I'm around the most, neither of them pay attention to me ever. Neither. When I try to talk to them, they're looking somewhere. I go, I'm surrounded by. Those are the kind of people I attract. I think the people that just look through me and go, sorry, I was doing something else. My mind was elsewhere. I said, this is my penance. I got Ben, he had work, and I got Hannah at home.
I was just wishing happy birthday to our friend Steve Sugimoto. Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday,
24
Steve.
years old.
Hey, I wonder when Steve Sugimoto's birthday is.
So if I
see how annoying that
if I
is.
missed what you were saying, it's because I wasn't paying attention to you for a
I
second.
know it's very insulting.
Very-
Both of you, my wife.
Did you guys
and-
see? It's Steve Sugimoto's
Yes.
birthday.
Oh my God, it's Sug's birthday today.
Hey, it's always good to repeat things on the radio.
I
We're
guess it
taught
is.
that. Like, hey, repeat it 3 times
You're
and
right.
then a couple of times more just to make sure your message got through.
You're right.
Because not everybody listens as closely as you do, Woods.
That
I'm
is
so
true.
glad
That is true.
that you hang on every word.
Every word, man.
that I say and
Yes.
that Hannah says and that Paul says and your kids say.
Every
Single word all the time.
whilst cooking dinner,
Of course.
and working on this program.
And
So,
rewatching Goodwill Hunting for the 79th time.
that's exactly right.
You can do it all at once.
I can
you
do it
are an
all.
amazing
I'm detecting some
multitasker.
sarcasm in your voice.
Sarcastic. That is
Benjamin.
absolutely true. And you're very good at
Jeter
doing
says
many
in
things
the
at once.
Jeter says in the chat, it's Steve Sugimoto's birthday today.
Yeah, Steve
guys.
Sugimoto's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Stevie.
Shelby says you subconsciously look for people that treat you the way your parents did. Oh God, this is
Well, that just got deep.
I got therapy today. Maybe I delve into that one.
What did Gary do? Did he not pay attention to you? It seemed I feel like that's not
I feel like
Gary.
he did, but my mom is distracted a lot. So I don't know. It's weird for somebody with ADD and ADHD. I can focus in. I can do a couple things at once. I can write in the chat, respond to your comments. But listen, not everyone has that, and that's my cross to bear, and I bear it every day, all day.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
I don't mean to make your life harder.
No, no.
I really don't.
You make my life easier. That was fantastic, though. I wonder if he knows where Carlos Correa is going to go. I did like a 5-minute preamble on it. I read the tweets. I read his Instagram. I wonder.
I do
what.
remember I was looking up very intently on Carlos Baerga's
It's-
history with the San Diego Padres.
That's the San Diego newsman in you,
Yeah.
that you have to make a San Diego connection. I was looking for one for you this morning for the Rabbit Hole and Leslie Van Houten. I could not find one. So I noticed why I didn't make many big waves around San Diego. Not really a San Diego connection. with Leslie Van Houten.
Apparently, maybe they went to school in the San Diego area, not in the Los Angeles area. Though.
Who did?
Leslie Van Houten.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
what my mom said.
I thought your mom was from LA.
She was, but her friend was from
friend.
San Diego, so it may have been a San Diego connection as well.
Interesting.
You know, we love to throw them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
at least I
absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. No question about it. No question about it. Padres draft continued yesterday, Benjamin. We
They
had not
finished yesterday.
They finished, yeah. We had not gotten into the draft yet. Speaking of Steve Sugimoto, again, one of the better tweets we've seen in the last couple of weeks for sure, when he was talking about all the recent Padres draft picks of Hudson Head and now Dylan Head and Homer Bush,
Cole Wilcox,
James
Wood.
There seemed to be a very immature theme going on.
Like they make a pick and then they all
They
giggle and snicker.
because I would, and I did, and there was a couple more that they had. Dane Lay was drafted out of Oregon City High School. They loaded up on pitchers, by the way.
He's a good lay, that's for sure.
He's one of the better lays.
I mean,
I knew his dad. His dad wasn't that great. He's one of the better lays that you'll find. This one made me laugh. I don't know why. Harry Gustin.
What's a Harry Gustin?
I don't know. I saw it and I just laughed. I laughed because I'm a 12-year-old. You have to, if you're,
I know. I'm
if
right
your
there with you.
Gustin is out of control, then you just need to
Take care of it.
take care of it.
They also took Blake Dickerson yesterday.
It's funnier when you say it. No, they did. They loaded up on pitchers.
They
brother.
did. Well, I mentioned yesterday
So-
that they only took 2 pitchers in the first 10 rounds.
I
How
know.
are you ever gonna build a pitching base in your minor leagues? Well, they corrected that by I think taking like 8 in a row yesterday.
So 11th round was Carson Montgomery, then Blake Dickerson in the 12th, Dane Lay in round 13, Tyler Morgan, round 14, Zach Atkinson, round 15, Sam Whiting in round 16, another one in round 17, and Eric Yost. Our beloved Harry Gustin is also a pitcher. And then Adler Cecil in the 19th round. And then the last pick was B.Y. Choi, athlete from New Mexico Military Institute.
That's probably the weirdest school that I saw drafted out of I've never heard of the New Mexico Military Institute, but I heard Chris Kemp, Padres vice president of international scouting, talking about B.Y. Choi, who apparently came to New Mexico from Korea, where he was a giant Ha-Sung Kim fan
That's awesome.
and a huge Padres fan, and apparently was like over the moon to be drafted by his favorite team and a chance to be in the same organization as his like personal hero.
That's fantastic.
Ha-Sung Kim. So I'm already excited about B.Y. Choi as a shortstop. And he's a big guy, too, 6'3", 203 pounds. So an athletic shortstop out of Korea. And the Padres obviously have had some success with Ha-Sung Kim.
Now, realistically, and I saw a couple people tweeting about it yesterday, Benny, I mean, people are going to have to go now, right? If you can only sign, you can only have you can't have an unlimited amount of players in your system, right? And so depending on who you sign, however many names you add, people need to be released and things like that. That's the tough part about this.
Well, they've also gone on and signed at least half a dozen or more undrafted free agents. Now, the draft used to be like 60 rounds. So now that it's only 20, you're not loading up your system with as many draft picks as you used to be. So you can just, hey, maybe you only sign another 15, 20 guys, as opposed to where it used to go, what was Mike Piazza, like a 57th round draft pick, something like that. They don't do that anymore. It's done at 20. And then if you want to fill out the rest of your minor leagues, you do so with undrafted free agent guys. And, Padres scouts have been all around the place looking for potential, players that'll get overlooked in the draft that they still think might have some potential to develop in the minor leagues over a few years. So you'll see those over the next couple of days get announced as well.
I mean, again, I didn't, because they picked so late in the first round and then didn't have another pick till much later. Again, the mentality I think of most Padre fans out there right now is, okay, great. What can we do to improve this team? Now at the deadline, none of these guys are those guys, and no draft pick is going to help their team this year at all. It doesn't matter if you're Paul Skeens or Dylan Cruz or anybody else.
I've heard thought that Paul Skeens
No
could
way.
come up and help the Pirates right away. That he is basically
Really?
MLB ready. There's
Has-
not much that he
It's,
needs to learn in the minor leagues before they bring him up.
it's happened, yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's
happened.
It's happened a few times.
He would be okay. Maybe he's the outlier then. God, can you imagine? Get that kid locked down in the bullpen in September.
Certainly not like Dave Winfield
Yeah.
came right up to the big leagues, but that was 1970s.
Right.
It's different game now, and I think there's more to learn.
Never
There's
played a
more-
minor league game, right?
Never once in his career
God,
played in the
that's
minor
rad.
leagues.
What a
But
G.
nowadays, there's so much more to learn. All the
Oh, yeah.
nuances, the everything, just the pitch calm, everything.
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
want
yeah.
to get used to it in the minor leagues a little bit, but they do say Skeens could get up pretty fast.
That'd
All right,
be
we got 1
amazing.
hour to go. Paulie's got some headlines with the Reindl Report. Get to that and more coming up next on San Diego's number one
Awkward
sports
phone
station.
call interview.
Oh, I love this.
97.3 The Fan. I think everyone wants their team's players to perform well in the All-Star game.
No question about it.
You just don't want them to embarrass themselves.
Correct.
Take a loss or the L or strike out. And no Padre of the two that participated did anything to embarrass themselves last night in the game. Juan Soto went 1 for 3, but he didn't strike out. He grounded out, popped out, and then ripped an absolute laser beam of a single.
Missile.
We say like the third hardest hit ball of his career.
Yeah, hardest of the night at the game, 116 miles an hour.
That was absolutely scorched. Just got on top. He had 3-ball count, so he was ready 3-1, I think, and ready to turn on a pitch. And then Josh Hader, he didn't have the cleanest of innings. Gave up a lead single, a pop up, and then I think Brent Rooker scorched one at third base. But a nice play. I don't know who's playing.
Austin Riley.
Austin Riley made a nice play and then picked off Whit Merrifield at first base for the quick double play. But
Pete Alonso made a nice pick over there.
He did.
But
Nice scoop.
the only thing he can hang his hat on. He had 2 Ks, lost in the dirt. He wants to get the hell out of Seattle so bad. I mean, he had a rough go.
But the good news for Josh Hader is that the entire inning and the outing only consumed 5 pitches. So he still kind of gets the whole break to pretty much rest his arm, other than a little warm up and 5 pitches. He might have tossed a few pitches on the side anyway, just to keep fresh during the All-Star break. So it's not like Craig Kimbrell, who came in and had to labor over a 30
pitches, man,
in the 9th inning for his own manager, Rob Thompson, just happens to be the Padres' next opponent. Now, I fully anticipate Craig Kimbrell will be available on Friday.
He'll be good to go
if needed. But at the same time, if you had to give me my choice, I'd rather have my player have an outing like Craig Kimbrell, 5 pitches rather than 30 pitches in the All-Star game.
Talk about the way the game started last night with 2 absolute missiles tanked, one to right. Adolis Garcia makes a spectacular catch in the sun.
Not quite home run robbing, but hopping up in the air just short of the wall.
Definitely a double. Definitely a double if it on most normal right fielders. Blinded by the sun. Spectacular catch. Then, very next hitter hits a missile to left.
Pretty much mirror image.
Yes, and Randy Arozarena goes back to the wall, jumps up, makes a brilliant catch, does the arms cross, which is one of my favorite bits in baseball. I think it's phenomenal. And then I thought to myself, wow, both of those guys were Cardinals farmhands together at the same time. They played on 5 different minor league teams together, I believe. And I thought, how do you let those guys go? Like, I would love to go back and look at the trades and how that worked
as
out.
Padres fans, we know that you let guys go, and sometimes you regret it. But the Padres aren't the only ones who have gone down that road.
That's such a huge one. I mean, both of those guys are monstrous baseball players, like really, really good baseball players on multifaceted baseball players. Good defense, good hitting, good power, clutch, the whole thing. Like, those are 2 really good players. You think the St. Louis Cardinals, who are mired in a horrible season, you think they wouldn't like them in the corner outfield this season? I mean, imagine their lineup with a Arozarena and a Adolis Garcia in it. Pretty dirty. I saw rumors Nolan Arenado could be on the block. Could you believe that? Is that something you buy into? That they would, if they're going to do it, that they're going to do it. Goldie, Arenado, boom. Could you imagine? Like, Steve Cohen's got to be salivating. He would do anything to get Nolan Arenado.
Goldschmidt, you say?
I could believe it.
I guess I could too. I mean, they're an organization that makes hard decisions. They have before.
Yeah,
I mean, Jackson Merrill, you are a St. Louis.
It's not like they have a tiny payroll. They have a decent one always, but at the same time, they're also somewhat budget conscious as well. And if they don't feel like they're true World Series contenders in the next couple of years, it probably makes more sense for them to start rebuilding and reloading. Something they've always been very successful at. They've developed a lot of their own minor leaguers as well over the years that have led to many playoff and championship squads. If they don't think Arenado's part of the next World Series winning team,
8-year deal though. He's a free agent in 28. Goldschmidt, free agent in 25. Wilson Contreras, 29. I'm sure they regret that one. I do wonder if they're going to decide to cash. I mean, the haul back for a Nolan Arenado, you shudder to think what that would be, but I can't imagine. But I did see an article. Somebody said, like, Nolan Arenado bracing himself for the potential That's
So he didn't get a no trade clause.
I don't know.
when he did that long extension.
I don't know.
Interesting.
A lot was made of him just signing that quick extension, and a lot of praise was heaped his way. But that would be insane. That would be insane.
All right, let's see what else is going on. Time for Paulie and a Rindle report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul. How you doing? Okay. How are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen, we will start with the sportiest news of the Rindle Report. Shefty Bomb earlier today from Adam Schefter, ESPN. In the world of football, it has been decided the New York Jets will be the team featured on HBO's Hard Knocks this summer.
Just one knock.
Hard Knock. It's the Jets. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago. All speculation pointed to the Jets being the team that was going to get picked based on all of the criteria that goes into it through the league and through HBO. It's first-year head coaches, those teams are eliminated. Teams that made the playoffs last year or the year before that, they're out. And a team that's appeared in the last 10 seasons. So that
Have
left,
they not?
Now left 4 teams.
I swear I thought they were just on.
The Jets, the Bears, the Saints, and the Commanders.
It's a motley crew to choose from there.
Now, the Jets head coach said his team did not want to be featured on the show, but too bad. They were last on Hard Knocks in 2010.
No, so
it's
over
been
10 years
It's been
ago.
a while.
Man,
last year was the Lions.
I don't think
And
I
they
can
did the
watch.
Arizona Cardinals
No?
had the in-season edition that they've been doing. But
I don't think I can watch.
it's New York.
Aaron
It's the
Rodgers
Jets.
has become
It's Aaron Rodgers.
kind of insufferable, even in small doses.
He's interesting though.
He's
interesting.
interesting, but I feel like this format, when you're going to have to fill an hour,
He's never
every
been on,
week,
right? He's never been on.
He's
Hard
never
Knocks.
been
No.
on. I just feel like it's going to be too much Aaron Rodgers for me. No, maybe they'll find other characters that make it interesting
You always
and
get
compelling.
that
but
third string guy that's fighting for a spot that you root for.
It's wild when you watch that show and you actually watch it. When I watched the Raiders episode, I mean, I was like, man, I love Carr, dude. What a great
The
dude.
Cleveland
What a-
episode got
Cleveland
me.
got me. Like, you just really start rooting for these guys. I'll probably watch some. There's a series I'm more interested in. It's that quarterback series that Netflix is doing.
Yeah.
I saw a little teaser from that
They just
yesterday
put
with,
out a trailer for that.
with Mahomes and Max Crosby from the Raiders. Awesome. Looks awesome.
I didn't see the teaser. I saw the concept.
Looks
and they're
awesome.
following around like Marcus Mariota, Patrick Mahomes, one other quarterback.
Is it Josh Allen?
Josh Allen, maybe?
Just the kind of behind the scenes life of a quarterback.
It's fascinating
How
to
it-
me.
How are they going to keep it from being incredibly boring?
Like X's and O's stuff.
It just feels like what quarterbacks do is sit around watching tons of film on opposing defenses, like hours at a time. I mean, when Phillip Rivers was living in San Diego and commuting up to LA, he tricked out he had a
Conversion van,
yeah, so he could be in the back just studying film on the entire drive
Well, I
up
mean,
and down every single day.
I guess the same thing could be said for Full Swing, right? You're just looking at different golfers and how they go about their business. But I was riveted. I mean, if we get inside these guys' lives a little bit, that could be interesting. I'm fascinated by the position. It's a catcher, quarterback, so much to know.
With golf, though, they're traveling different tournaments,
Yeah.
different environments. They're getting on with the
live
football
stuff.
players. It's like, okay, we're at the facility again today, and we're going.
Here's
home.
Patrick doing squats.
And
Now
we're
he's
back-
doing deadlifts.
And now we're back at the facility, and we're getting treatment. And
Here
we're
he is
watching
throwing
film,
a ball through a
and
tire.
we're going out to practice, and we're eating, and
Well,
we're
we'll
going
see.
home.
Let's
I'll give it.
let's
I'll keep an open
wait.
mind. I'll
Let's
keep an open
wait
mind.
until we see it. We may love it because Netflix. You got to give them, man. They do a great job
They do.
on those.
They do.
They
I'll
really do.
keep an open mind.
Yep.
Trying to pull up exactly.
Not like we
who's
don't
on
need the content. You know what I mean? Like we absolutely need it.
All right, we will move on to the phone call that we wanted to play.
Is it Kirk Cousins? Was Kirk Cousins the last one? Is that right?
Yeah, Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota
Just
are the
got,
3 quarterbacks featured in the series.
just got a little more boring. I did. Sorry.
That I was like on the fence, and now I'm not so sure. All right, so Deebo Samuel. We go back to January NFC Championship game, 49ers and Eagles, and Philadelphia just absolutely demolished San Francisco. 31-7 was the final score, but that's because they were already down a quarterback, and they had Brock Purdy in there. And I'm looking at the box score. He went 4 for 4 to start the game before he was knocked out and did not play. Josh Johnson, our buddy,
our beloved, one of our
ended up
first
filling
guests.
in.
But not
And
someone you want to be counting on in an NFC championship game.
NFC championship game coming in. I think he had signed like that week with the 49ers. He had 7 for 13,
It's an impossible
74
task.
yards,
Yeah.
no
Impossible.
touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, this game was all Philadelphia. And Deebo Samuel, like even during Super Bowl week, a week and a half later, he was doing interviews. I had a clip of him on First Take with Stephen A. All he could talk about was, that NFC Championship game. Like, man, I've talked to Kyle Shanahan. Like, if we just had one other quarterback, if one quarterback could have been there, we could have had this. We could have had them.
Josh Johnson's like, cool.
Yeah, right. He
By
did
the way, that's a
interview.
horrible take by Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to think that any quarterback, including the very last pick in the draft, who is a rookie, is worth 24 points in one game.
Correct.
There's no way that one player is worth a 24-point swing.
Especially somebody that would have accounted as a backup.
I don't care if you go from Josh Johnson to Peyton Manning in his prime. You're not affecting a game by 24 points with one player going out. Now,
that's
a 7 points, a touchdown, a key
getting
play
away from
here
the
or there.
point.
Absolutely.
You're getting away from the
He's
point.
up on a tangent.
Yes.
Let him go.
Sports.
He's cooking.
He's cooking. I understand.
Cooking right now.
It's a bad take.
Point being, though, Deebo Samuel, that's all he could talk about was that game. He could not, and it was fresh in his mind. It's been a few months now. So he went on CBS Sports Radio a couple days ago with Zach Gelb. You hear him on our station in the evenings occasionally. And about 3 minutes into the interview, they start asking him about the quarterback situation for the 49ers. And that leads to questions about Philadelphia. And just listen to how this plays out.
So you think he has a future in San Francisco, or he has to go somewhere else to be a starter with what
That
Brock's
is not
done?
my call.
Gotcha. Deebo Samuel here with us. Well, something that is your call. I saw what you said about the Eagles back at the Super Bowl at Sirius, where if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt, you guys would have won that game by double digits. Why would that have been the case?
I don't know. That's old.
So do you not still believe that?
I mean, I do, but I mean, we're not. That's like we're not gonna keep talking about it. I mean, I said what I said.
Gotcha. So then what happens this year when you play Philly on December 3rd?
I don't know. Just wait till week 13, 12, whatever week it is. We'll show you.
Well, then you know how that's going to go down. You're going into Philadelphia. Those fans are going to be booing you loud. You have a message for Eagles fans?
So I was just going to point it out.
So
Listen to him. He going, hey, he's calling for somebody.
Right.
While on the phone.
Well, then you know how that's going to go down. You're going into Philadelphia. Those fans are going to be booing you loud. You have a message for Eagles fans?
Hey guys.
Yeah?
All right, we're good to go.
Is this Deebo's mom?
What do you mean? We have Deebo on right now.
Yeah, I know, but we're gonna head into camp right now.
Oh.
Are you serious? Okay. Thank you. There you
Thanks,
go.
Bye.
Deebo Samuel
Bye.
doesn't want to answer a few questions.
Oh.
Are you serious? We got hung up on because all we did was ask him about the quarterback situation and then Philadelphia, and we got hung up on by Deebo Samuel? That's a joke.
So that was obviously 49ers PR stepped in, took the phone.
Hey guys.
Hi, we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
So thank you.
It's going to be booing you loud. You have a message for Eagles fans?
Hey guys.
Yeah?
All right, we're good to go.
Are we?
He's like, yeah, I know. We're on.
What do you mean? We have Deebo on right now.
Yeah, I know, but we're gonna head into camp right now.
By good to go, I mean
Are you
this
serious?
interview
Okay.
is over.
Thank you. There you
Thanks,
go.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye. He's going, hey, I'm done.
I don't
I'm
wanna be here
done.
anymore.
This is not going well.
Spectacular audio. I hope that never
Thanks,
happens.
bye.
It was a very uncomfortable interview from the start. It really was. It didn't,
The whole interview was about 4 minutes because
Deebo didn't sound really like he wanted to do it, and that's never fun. We've been there. Most of them.
It's no fun interviewing someone who doesn't want to
It's
be
the worst.
interviewed.
There's nothing worse. You're like, all right, man, just go ahead and get on with the rest of your day. We're good.
You see him occasionally, like the losing coach at the Super Bowl. You sit there, it's somber. The answers are short. It's never a lot of fun. But you sometimes, as a professional athlete, you do have to do it.
Sure. Well, you agreed to it.
Yeah.
Said I'll go on with you guys. They didn't force him to do it.
Finally, this headline from the UK reads: Nurse fired after patient died while having sex with her in his car.
In his car.
So a British nurse lost her gig.
Okay.
She was having a secret affair with a dialysis patient. And this was all discovered after the patient passed away.
Was he supposed to be getting dialysis at the time and
he passed away?
Didn't?
Exertion.
He actually passed away last year, but this is all coming to light now. It happened in Wrexham, Wales, in a parking lot of the hotel.
Where Ryan Reynolds' soccer team is from.
Hospital?
Huh?
Hospital or hotel?
Hospital. Sorry, I said hotel. Sorry. So the 42-year-old nurse failed to call an ambulance after he had a heart attack in the back seat of the car.
All right. So she and him are doing the thing, and they've been having this affair, and they're in the car because you can't do it in the hospital bed. That would raise eyebrows, right? And so they go outside, and he's just obviously into it, and he's so into
He's
it
very into
that he
it.
drops dead, or he dies, or he loses conscious, and she does not call for help. She panics. She panics. She had a panic moment, and she's like, "I killed this guy."
Wow.
This reminds me of that story. Now, remember the husband who was caught cheating? Well, it's not illegal. I mean, maybe it's immoral,
That guy-
but is it
Was
it
he the
really
bowling
is
coach?
it illegal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it illegal to have an
Guys,
affair with a
guys.
dialysis patient, or is it just frowned upon?
Yeah, I don't know their marital status or whatever.
So she was supposed to call an ambulance.
Yeah, and she
did
did
not.
it. She could have saved him.
She called
maybe.
over a colleague to come help.
She is a nurse.
The colleague instructed the nurse to call for an ambulance. She did not.
Wow.
She instead waited for her colleague to call the ambulance themselves. And when they finally arrived, the man was dead.
It was too long.
He was dead in the back of the car with his pants down.
Yeah.
It
I
says,
just found him like this. I have no idea how this happened.
according to
I
reports,
was walking by, I looked in, and I saw Fred in here, and he had his pants down.
In my car.
In my car. I got in my car.
he died from heart failure
Yeah.
and chronic kidney disease triggered by
Hey.
a medical episode.
He went out on top, though.
Maybe not. Never know. As if it says, so she didn't even call for help. She didn't call the ambulance. She then lied about her relationship with the patient. She told police
Cover
that
up's
the
always worse than the
patient
crime.
messaged
Always.
her on Facebook because he wasn't feeling well,
Hey, can you pop in real quick? I've seen movies that start
and that
like
she
this.
was sitting in the back of his car just talking with him. Why were his pants off?
It was hot. He was hot. He was warm. It was very warm here in Wales, and he removed his pants. He's also under the influence of several narcotics that we've had to give him for his pain. So that's why he took his pants off. Am I free to go now? Can I go? Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
Good edition of the Roundel Report.
Very salacious
Thank you very
indeed.
much.
Very, very salacious.
I got time for some phone calls if you want. Final segments of Ben and Woods, 833-288-0973. Been talking about the All-Star game. You had any thoughts on what you saw last night? You can join us as we wrap things up on a Wednesday on San Diego's #1 sports station. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Hint Water. Hint Water, delicious fruit-infused water with 0 sweeteners, 0 calories. Hint's 25 flavors include blackberry, coconut, and blueberry lemon. In stores or at hintwater.com.
To fill some time, why don't you read all of the flavors of Hint Water? What did you give us?
Blackberry, coconut, and blueberry lemon. That leaves us with 22 other flavors to account for.
Grape, orange, cherry,
strawberry,
lime. Would be that would have been a good prank promo for you to read. All of the Hint Water flavor. Ben's like, what in the hell is going on? Blueberry, blackberry, boysenberry. Just ripping through all of the Hint Water flavors. We got some callers on the line. We wanted to take pine. Yes.
Grape, passion fruit, orange, guava, pineapple, peach, peach, raspberry, strawberry, lemon, coconut, cherry, blackberry, blueberry, lemon, watermelon, pineapple, black cherry, clementine, crisp apple, cherry, peach, mango, lemon, raspberry, strawberry, kiwi, or mango.
Okay, why is it crisp apple? Because none of the other
Soggy
flavors
apple didn't sound good.
None of the other flavors.
Mealy apple. Yeah, it's really cool. It tastes like when you bite into a mealy apple and it just explodes in your mouth. It's my number one.
None of the
pet
other
peeve.
flavors had a qualifier.
That's true.
It was
Firm blueberry, ripe pineapple, juicy watermelon,
but crisp apple,
tart lime.
is the only one with the qualifier.
Why?
Just couldn't be apple.
I was gonna get this, but it's that I know it's that mealy apple that I
We can't
got.
just call it apple.
Maybe what is it? Crisp apple?
Crisp apple. Well, maybe it's a play on apple crisp.
No, this is water. Water with chunks of apple crisp in it. This is
Now we're
not a
talking.
really good idea.
Now we're talking.
Him reading 40 flavors would have been the
Paulie just
greatest.
did it. It was
Would have
great. It was
been-
fantastic.
But you coming back from break, like
Hint Water has many flavors like
blackberry, boysenberry, peach, crisp apple. I'm kicking myself right now. Damn it, idiot!
Well, just wait until a little bit later when I read you all the South Norte tequila cocktails.
Oh, I know.
available.
There's a bunch in there.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, you are next up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I really enjoy your show. I
Thank
usually
you.
listen to the coach, but I've been listening to you for the past week, so I'm kind of addicted to you.
Appreciate
But I'm going to give you my summation of the All-Star game because I did watch it yesterday. But they kind of remind me, the players, everybody on the team, overpriced, over-animated, cocky players that when they get together, they don't really accomplish much. Except for that one guy that got that 2-run homer. That was the
Elias Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz, because he's older, never had that opportunity, couldn't walk around thinking that he's like Mr. Macho, and here he does what nobody else did, accomplish something, and that kind of wraps it up for me. Because 3-2, I'm glad that the Nationals won, because I'm a big Padre fan. But in my estimation, in order to get a group of people that are heroes, or like Manny says on the back of our baseball cards, it's still hard to get people to play.
Michelle,
game.
and I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you getting addicted to the show. We love to hear that. I think you're misinterpreting, though, like Manny's comments as arrogance or not being a team player. When you say, Manny says, "Hey, look at the back of our baseball cards." That I think that just is trying to lift up he and his teammates,
I'm
going,
sweating.
this is what we've done in our career. In baseball, that's incredibly important in predicting future success. You got a guy who has a track record of doing good things. They can expect that, as we have seen with Manny finally in the last few weeks, he's playing like the way you expect him to play. And that's a good thing. I think you want players who have that confidence. If you have a team full of Elias Diaz's, it's a great story. It absolutely is. And I was happy for him. It's a great moment. You're not going to be a great ball club, though. If you have all you have are the underdog plucky guys,
all right,
you need some star power. You need some superstar players. And with superstar players comes that confidence, that swagger that you usually see in really good teams.
what I found in my life, the people that don't like that confidence, and I'm speaking for myself, actually. I've never been that good at anything to be that cocky about. Never. I've never had that ability. I'm a very average radio host. I'm a very average husband. I'm a very average father. I'm a very average guitar player. I'm a very average baseball player. I'm a very average golfer.
I think you're overselling some things and underselling others. But go ahead.
You're a really good dad.
I think you're a really good
pump your
radio
chest
host.
out about that.
I lose my mind.
I don't know that you're
at
even
my
an
kids.
average baseball player, but that's okay.
For 48
But you're
years old,
really good. You're
no.
really
I mean, I
good
have
radio
been in my
host.
whole life. Average.
In your okay,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not an average. Like I've always been average. When I played in high school and I played Little League, I was below
Sure.
average probably.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'll strike your ass on 3 pitches. I won't even think twice about it.
Well, I'm a very below average
Okay.
baseball
Well,
player.
what I'm saying is though, I've never had that thing that I was so good at that maybe I could puff my chest out a little bit about, right? And I don't know, man. I hear things like that, and I respect people's opinions. Certainly. That being said, though, like I don't like the constant looking back to the players of yesteryear. You telling me there weren't some arrogant, absolute turds that played baseball in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s? Yes, there were. Ted Williams was one. He was very arrogant. Babe Ruth was a giant sack of S, pretty much.
Mickey Mantle.
I mean, these guys were not the crew cut poster boys that a lot of people paid them up to be. Pete Rose, arrogant, absolutely. Played hard, sure, absolutely he did. But this whole notion that all these young players, and let's be honest, a lot of people talking about Latin players when they make those assertions, bro, they come from a different country. They come from a different country with a different culture. They have come here to play baseball at the highest level. That different culture is something I'm fascinated by. And they've been doing this since they were little kids. Every team has room for the plucky, put his head down and I wash it down to first base like Brandon Nimmo. I love our team full of guys that have confidence and swag and can wear chains and look cool as hell doing it and look smooth while they do it. All of them care. And I'm watching this talented bevy of players at the All-Star game last night. And I thought to myself, as I watched it with my 5-year-old, who, by the way, has a chain, loves it. It's harmless. It hurts no one. Doesn't hurt one single soul if somebody pimps a home run or if somebody wears a chain around their neck. It doesn't hurt anybody. They're celebrating their culture, their flair, their ability. Things like the normal people like us, as normal as it gets, will never understand.
And if
the
you think
ability.
the Houston Astros won the World Series last year, don't have confident, cocky players. They do,
100%.
absolutely, and they absolutely deserve to be. Juan Soto deserves to be Juan Soto. He has won a World Series. He has proven himself as one of the best hitters in a very difficult sport. When he goes up there, he is a guy who has earned that reputation, as has Manny Machado, as quickly as Fernando Tatis Jr. in his career.
And the other thing is, I mean, think about how much they eat, sleep, live, breathe baseball. Sometimes it looks to us that maybe they're not. And look, are there guys that don't give max effort? Sure, there are. You see them in every sport. In basketball, you see a guy dogging it. Golf, you see a guy kind of half-ass his way through it. Football, you see a guy give up on a play. It happens all the time, regardless of who you are or what culture you come from. These guys, from the day they were born, you heard Juan Soto last night saying, "Oh, I've been playing against Vladdy Jr. since I was 15, and he's always been like this." These guys came up together. They all play the game a certain way. It's so beautiful. The Japanese players all play the game a certain way. It's so beautiful. The Korean players play the game a different way. It's so beautiful. And when it all comes together here, bro, there's outliers on every team that are turds. There are outliers on every team that are brilliant superstars. But, man, I watched that game last night, and I looked around, and I went, what a time. What a time to be alive when you're watching these players. So that's my 2 cents.
Well said by an above-average radio host.
Thank
I
you
would
very
say.
much.
All right, 833-288-0973. You want to react to that? You probably do. Give us a call. We'll be back. Wrap things up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by South Norte Tequila Cocktails. Real tequila, real juice. Savor South Norte Premium Tequila Cocktails. I will now list some of the options. Classic Margarita, Authentic Paloma, Mexican Mule, Matador. Available at Stater Brothers, Ralph's, and more.
Now I name every store they're available at.
You left out a bunch of
Food
stuff.
for less. Alpha Beta. Piggly Wiggly. So we just had a caller, and you had a great response to what she was talking about from the All-Star game and how she kind of, I think, perceived star players in baseball maybe being too full of themselves. Is that what you were kind of getting? That, and it kind of brought to mind what I feel like is one of my most confident sports opinions that I have, that is debated across the spectrum in every sport: basketball, football, baseball, whatever. But one of the opinions that I am supremely confident in is that today's athletes are way better than the ones from 20, 30, 40 years ago.
No doubt.
You may have nostalgia for the way the game was played. You may think maybe it was even aesthetically more pleasing. But if you put today's baseball players onto a diamond against guys in the 50s, they would wipe the floor with the guys from the 50s. If you put
With one arm.
If you put basketball players from today, even the worst NBA team, against a group of all-stars from the 1950s, they would wipe the floor with the guys from the 1950s.
By 80 points.
In football, if you put an NFL team today against an NFL team from the 1960s, it would look like they were playing a college team. It would be 65-3. The athletes of today don't even compare to what they were.
It's not close.
50, 60 years ago. You can't compare eras in any sport.
No, it's a feudal
with any real analytical methods.
Like as great as Ben Hogan was at golf. Well, his average drive was like 245 yards. I mean, it's not even close. And I understand there's improvements in equipment, nutrition.
Maybe if
blah,
Ben
blah, blah.
Hogan was born today and had the advantages of today's athletes and the technology and the training and tools and techniques, he might be just as great as he was in the past. But if you're just telling me that, the guy who played that game 50 years ago could jump onto a field or a court and do what they used to do, they couldn't.
Ellie De La Cruz stole second, third, and home the other day. The last red to do it was Greasy Neal in 1919. Let's put those two in any sort of competition. You can put them in a hot wing eating competition. De La Cruz is going to smoke Greasy Neal, whoever he is. Running, hitting, throwing. He throws 100 miles an hour from third base. He hits the ball at an average exit velo of 100 plus miles an hour. He's as fast as a gazelle. He's wiping the floor with Greasy Neal, Joe Jackson, name them, anybody. You
may have loved watching basketball, like John Wooden, UCLA, 1970s, making 5 crisp passes into a post guy who makes a great little spin move. Today's guy, they're blocking that shot. They just stand there, they jump, and they block it. It doesn't matter what they do.
What it really boils down to is this. I mean, I grew up, I started watching baseball in about 1985 when I was 10. I got really into it. And I've seen a lot of guys come and go. And I've seen a lot of different style of players come and go. There's room to be a Ken Caminiti fan and a Manny Machado fan. I'm a fan of both. I love them both. Love watching both of them play. Love what Cammy brought. There's room to be an Edwin Diaz fan and a Trevor Hoffman fan. Right? Love what Trevor Hoffman brought to the table. Love what Edwin Diaz does when healthy. There's room to evolve. There's room to see something. You may not like how they carry themselves. That's okay. And again, there's more information out about these players now. Their entire lives are under a microscope. When in 1955, Mickey Mantle was at Toots Shor's restaurant with 2 waitresses under the table and a bottle of whiskey in his hand. You can't do that now. It's not going to happen. Like, you can't, these guys, for the spotlight that they're under and the money that they make and the money that they generate, think about what they make. So imagine, like, oh, that guy's way overpaid. What do you think he generates? What do you think they generate for the day? If you're going to pay a guy $30 million a year, what do you think he generates for his ball club? A lot more than that.
LeBron James is underpaid.
He's underpaid
at $50 million a year.
There is no question. He's worth $400 million a year. They're paying soccer players $100 million a year someplace. You know why? Because they make $500
Whatever
million.
Shohei Ohtani gets on his next contract, he will be
underpaid. There's no doubt. And again, what he's going to not only what he provides on the field, but what he provides in jerseys and marketing and advertising. I mean, it's through the roof. It's
okay to like certain players and not like certain
100%.
players. We all do that. That's part of being a sports fan. You have your favorites. You have guys who get under your skin. But ultimately, I have an incredible amount of respect for just about everybody who puts themselves out there as a professional athlete right now. The pressure, the spotlight, everything that goes along with it, it's harder than it's ever been. It's harder than it's ever been. Yeah, they make great money now that they didn't make before, but they absolutely, I think, earn that money, and they're worth that money.
I'm watching last night Camilo Doval throw 102 on the black. You know who never saw 102 on the black? Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. Never saw it. I was talking to my dad about it the other day, and I said to him, I go, so I'm watching, it's a stupid anecdote, but it makes sense. So I'm watching the movie Major League again with my son. Wild Thing takes the mound, gets on the bump. Two guys stand. All right, let's see what you got, kid. Throws right through him, breaks the sign. How much? 96. And he goes, you better teach this kid some control. He's going to kill somebody. Now they'll be like, all right, thanks for coming out, Wild Thing. Good to see you, pal. Appreciate it. Yeah, we got 14 other guys that throw 96 and higher. It's different. Things have changed. It's the dumbest anecdote, but I go, Dad, when I was growing up, it was, and now people do. Why can't you be more like Nolan Ryan? I'm like, there was one guy that threw 100 miles an hour when my whole youth in 15 years was one guy. I never saw J.R. Richard pitch. Apparently he threw 103. I never saw it. I saw Nolan Ryan throw 100 and I went, woohoo! And you'd have maybe one guy on your team that could touch 95. One. Now, if you don't throw 95, you're like, you're good, bro. Go sell insurance.
I grew up with Randy Johnson. 96 mile an hour slider. My God.
And now it's just such a dime a dozen. It's harder than it's ever been. They're more talented than they've ever been.
Yet they're still throwing from 60 feet, 6 inches.
That hasn't changed
You'd
a
think
bit.
with everything, they'd be back 3 or 4 feet by now. Nope.
And it's not just
still
baseball,
in the
dude.
same spot.
Your favorite basketball player from the 70s or whatever would crap their pants if they had to guard Giannis.
There's going to be
Jokic.
And there's going to be outliers in all of this, right? Like there's always going to be an outlier. They're like, no, he could have hung. This guy could have. Tony Gwynn would figure out at some point how to rake Camilo Doval. Why? Because he had the best eyesight that's ever.
Wilt probably would have been still.
Wilt probably would have been fine, right? Bill Russell would have dominated still. Like there's always going to be outliers, but as a whole, in general, let me pick you 9 guys that are bottom third of every lineup, and I'll put them against the 1927 Yankees, and they will mop the floor of them. Right. I get to pick the 5th guy in the bullpen, 6th guy in the bullpen. I mean, Luis Garcia. Bro, he would destroy those guys back then.
When I was growing up, if your shortstop hit 230 with decent defense and hit
3
6 home runs, you're feeling like, hey, we got a pretty good shortstop. Now you better be a premier power hitter, average, drive-in RBIs, be a great fielder, an incredible athlete, and then you have a chance to get on the field at shortstop.
Like there's certain parts of me that are still kind of old schooly in baseball. There are parts of me where I'm like, you're down 7 runs, right? And you hit a home run off of me personally, and you stand and stare at me. And if you like point at me, if you want to celebrate with the teammates, fine. I still want to throw it at your hip, not at your head. I still want to throw it at your hip, or I want to buzz you inside. I do. There's still part of me.
That's common sense a little bit.
It's like an old. There is that old, guy that lives inside me still on some aspects of baseball. But then, man, the other side is. Holy cow. Like, look what we get to see on a daily basis. We are seeing the greatest influx of talent in baseball that there's ever been. And there's more coming. And, some of the guys that I'm still looking forward to seeing, like pitch, the Kumar Rockers of the world, the Leiter. We haven't seen them. Jack Leiter. We haven't seen them yet. There's so many good players coming up. The Ethan Salases of the world. And why do we gatekeep so much this beautiful sport of ours? So much. It drives me crazy. And they probably do it in football, and you probably Jerry Rice probably gets together sometimes with, Andre Reed, and they're like, man, these guys are soft. They probably do that. That happens in every single sport. I get it.
I promise you, the 53rd guy on the roster for the Cleveland Browns would have been an all-pro, elite, superstar, freak athlete, never been seen before if he was playing in 1965.
No question. No question.
They would, if you could pick him up and drop him there, they'd be like, what is happening? This guy is so fast. He's so big.
We just gatekeep baseball so much. And it's partly the commissioner's fault too, because they keep changing the rules and keep changing the product. And the more you tell somebody there's a problem, what do they start to believe? There's a problem. You know, baseball's dying. Baseball's dying.
See, no,
it's actually not.
It's not. I disagree. I think they should have been evolving all along, like the other sports did.
So they're slower to evolve.
They've been so slow that
That's true.
now that they've made some changes, it feels so revolutionary. But if they had just been like everyone else and go, hey, let's keep up with the times, we're going to make some changes, it wouldn't feel so drastic every time they did actually make a change, a much needed one. I think almost all of us have gotten to understand pitch clock's been a pretty good thing for baseball.
It has.
It's kept games moving. You've gotten used to it for the most part. 9 out of 10 people I talk to, they wouldn't want to watch baseball any other way. Now, there was a lot of resistance to it.
I was a part of that, by the way.
But, you know, I think it's been a change for the positive. Baseball has always been the sport that's resisted change the most.
Well, we've done it like this season. It's been so much
it's
at
all,
one
all
time.
at once.
It's all at once. So yeah, you're right. The constant evolution.
The NFL, the NBA, they announce their rule changes every year. It's something they do. They announced 2 new NBA rule changes about flopping, about the replay challenges. It's just what they do. They evolve. Baseball has been so slow to do it.
We just gatekeep this sport so much about the way that things used to be done instead of looking at what you're seeing now and appreciating the greatness that you actually see, you know, and I can understand it. I can. I'm that way about music. You know, in my opinion, there hasn't been a good band in like the last 5 years. And I know that's not the case. I know it's not. But I do. Man, it was better in the 70s. You know, Skynyrd and Zeppelin and AC/DC and Black Sabbath, right? There hasn't been a band like that since. I'm the same freaking way. But about music, I have to evolve a little bit. And I'm trying to. But with baseball, it's getting better. It's just getting better. It's like we're seeing things that we've never seen before. Shohei Ohtani. We haven't even mentioned him. My God. Like we're on the same planet as that guy doing something revolutionary that we may never see again. So I don't know. There's just a lot of gatekeeping that goes on with the game. It makes me sad because I feel like in her case, I don't feel like she's going to be able to enjoy it as much as she should be able to.
One thing that I love about our show in particular is that we are baseball lovers in particular. We love the game. I mean, we appreciate it. We cheer for it. It's not just
defend
it. We want the sport to do well because we love baseball. And I agree with you, Woods. I think it's probably better than it's ever been right now.
Yeah. I'm a staunch defender of it, much like I am this industry, right? I've been in this industry 14 years, and it's since the day I started. Oh, it's dead. It's dying. It's dead. It's dying. So hear the same thing about baseball. Until it's without a heartbeat, I'll be defending it.
So we should have some time to continue this discussion tomorrow. I know we didn't get more phone calls because we both had a lot we wanted to say on that. But if you want to join us tomorrow morning early, we can do that. 833-288-0973. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. We always end up taking some calls at the end. Let's take some early tomorrow and discuss a little bit more about the state of baseball here as we head into the second half of the
season. Works for me.
Also got some soccer tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. USA Panama semifinals of the Gold Cup should be a busy one down there in Mission Valley. We will rejoin you tomorrow at 6 a.m. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Thanks for joining us on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Coach coming up next. Have a great day.